2015. Attorney Anita Areola argued the Superior Court erred. She said Torre was taken into custody immediately after the shooting and had not been given his Miranda rights when statements he made were recorded by another officer on a body cam. Therefore, those statements, she said, should not have been shown to the jury. They were involuntary and inadmissible and should have been suppressed, she argued. Assistant Attorney General Marianne Wolchuk countered that Torre was not in custody at the time the recording was made. She said Torre was very drunk when he was put on the tailgate outside the home where Piolo was shot, and it was only natural that police would try to steady him, but he had not yet been arrested, she argued. Therefore, the remarks he made that were recorded on the body cam were admissible as evidence. The justices took the arguments under advisement and will issue a decision at a later time. Also before the Guam Supreme Court yesterday, the University of Guam stood by its decision not to reinstate former professor of psychology Michael Ellert. Ellert was convicted of criminal sexual conduct involving certain UOG students. He was sentenced in 2017. He filed a petition asking to be reinstated and seeking back pay. UOG's legal counsel, attorney Randy Thompson, told the court that Ellert's termination was supported by Guam law, which prohibits the employment of persons convicted of criminal sexual conduct. Ellert's attorney, Dan Summerfleck, however, asked for due process. He said Ellert did not get any notice of adverse action and wasn't given the opportunity to answer. "We didn't get a fair hearing," said Summerfleck. A decision will be issued at a later time. We'll have more news after this.
The problem isn't just not being able to hear or understand, or having to tell people to speak louder. Sometimes the frustration is having to repeat yourself too many times, or speaking so loud you're almost shouting. At Guam Hearing Doctors, we understand that hearing problems affect both sides. One of our goals is to help your hearing for those around you. Call us at 989-TEST to learn more.
I have dedicated my career to protecting the most vulnerable and ensuring a safer community for our families and our children. I know public corruption is a cancer on our government, and if not rooted out, the cancer grows. Officials have a duty to ensure and uphold the integrity of our government. I will, working with our community, hold accountable those who violate the public's trust.
I'm Frank Blasogun Jr., and I approve this message.
News time here at The Point is 11 minutes past 6 a.m. 3 more migrants convicted of sexually assaulting children in 3 different cases are now facing deportation after Governor Eddie Calvo commuted their sentences, paving the way for their transfer to federal custody and immigration authorities. They are 38-year-old Asen Moni, who was convicted of criminal sexual conduct and sentenced to 20 years. He's a native of Chuk. His victims were girls who were 8 and 9 years old at the time they were raped. 60-year-old Kaskian Henry, also convicted of criminal sexual conduct involving a 10-year-old girl. He was sentenced to 5 years. He's from Pohnpei. Cherry Koto, also from Chuk, convicted of criminal sexual conduct and sentenced to 5 years. His victim was a 14-year-old girl. The 3 men will be transferred to the custody of federal authorities until they are deported. To date, the governor has commuted the sentences for either removal or deportation of 68 convicts. The Israeli family of companies donated $100,000 to the Atzuta Foundation yesterday for Super Typhoon U2 relief. The $100,000 check was personally delivered to the Atzuta Foundation yesterday by Jude Baker, Donna Israel Baker, and Michael Israel, who heads the Israeli Group of Companies. The Israeli Group of Companies was founded by the late Guam businessman and philanthropist Al Israel, who passed away last year. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray now with a look at weather.
It would be Ray and Mike, but there's no Mike today. We have a -1 Mike here in the building, and there's the weather music, and he's trying really, really hard to do a good job this morning. This is fun. So this is going to be a crazy morning. It's the Friday before the election, and I am minus a Mike but I can't show you what we are going to be working with, and some of you might be pondering about the real Joe Cruz. What What does he look like? Where can he be seen? And there's the producer cam this morning, and there is the real Joe Cruz subbing for Michael Knight, and Mike will be back with us on Monday morning. In the meantime, yeah, I guess there is going to be some weather. Let me see what I can scare up here. Isolated showers, mostly sunny. Today, going to be a warm 89 degrees. Heat index will be there, but it won't be adding too much. It'll feel like 93 degrees. 77 degrees for the overnight low that we can expect tonight. Winds 10 to 14 miles an hour today, decreasing to 9 to 13 a little bit later on. And the only other thing I have, I thought there was an advisory, a sea advisory, but I believe it's been canceled. I'll double check on that and get back to you. News and weather together here on The Point, brought to you by our friends over at Bank Pacific, where they are working with the Adzuda Foundation, making it so that $100,000 donation from the Israel family makes its way to relief for Saipan and the CNMI. If you'd like to help, maybe to the tune of $100,000, well, how about just a case of water? You can take that over to any of the Bank Pacific locations. Where others put branches, they place roots.
Circle K now offers Pop's Bake Shop products, cream cheese rolls, malasadas, delicious donuts, and more. Come see why Pop's Bakery is a Southern gem. Circle K, take it easy. Circle K now offers Bento Chef Sushi. Enjoy a selection of sushi, maki, and musubi made fresh every day. Circle K, take it easy.
Portions of the program brought to you by my friends King's Restaurant. They're back on the log. That's nice to see. King's, with outstanding breakfast that you can get 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you can also get these great lunchtime specials. Every weekday, they've got a fascinating and incredible lunch special. Today is Friday, so it's beef tenactac. Find that waiting for you at King's Restaurant.
After 34 years as your public servant, my commitment to serve our people has never wavered. I've never cared about making money. My greatest compensation is when I can help a disabled veteran, a cancer patient, or a struggling family to get the assistance they rightfully need and deserve. Public service has always been my calling. I'm Tina Muñoz Barnes, and I humbly ask for your vote. See to a small seat. I'm Tina Muñoz Barnes, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Tina Muñoz Barnes. Vince Moffness, treasurer.
A quarter after 6 o'clock in the morning, the Ray Gibson Show on The Point, brought to you by American Water Tech. Smarter water, better water. American President lines, where they're shipping the future. Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs. And, of course, the guys over at Micronesia Renewable Energy. Never been a better time to go solar.
I have dedicated my career to protecting the most vulnerable and ensuring a safer community for our families and our children. I know public corruption is a cancer on our government, and if not rooted out, the cancer grows. Officials have a duty to ensure and uphold the integrity of our government. I will, working with our community, hold accountable those who violate the public's trust.
I'm Frank Blasogan Jr., and I approve this message.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
You keep turning on my microphone like you're expecting me to talk. What are you doing there? Well, I'm relaxing here. I've got these moments that I can take a breather between all of the spots and the live reading and then the beginning of the show. I just want to take that breath now so I can begin this. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray Gibson, and normally saying Mike's side with Michael Knight, but as I said, I'm minus a Michael Knight producer today. So real Joe Cruz will answer the phone when you call in at 888-8255. The other guy I get to share the morning experience with is Kevin Kerrigan, and from the Guam Daily Post. Good morning, Kev. How you doing?
Good.
A little early today.
End of another long week.
But the weekend is ahead of us. What are you going to do? Are there stories this weekend?
Not that I'm interested in.
Well, I'm wondering what is going to happen, what we'll see this weekend, if there's going to be any of those kind of radical, just a few days away from the election, bombshells get dropped somewhere.
I hope not.
But if there is, Ladies and gentlemen, friends, Kevin Kerrigan will make sure that it gets to the Guam Daily Post app so that you can be among the first to know what exactly is going on in this town and what exactly is going on in this town. Take a look at, wait. Before we take a look at the table of contents, one of the other things that we like to do this early, and I've kind of got to start early because I started the feed late. I wanted to, as I said, I got a couple of additional pre-show chores because Michael is not here. There's a couple of things that I've got to do, and it made me completely forget to turn the actual Facebook feed on. Whoops. Ismail asking, did you sleep in? Dude, I wish. 618. Play me the Cheers theme, bro. Hit it.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
He's used to hearing Bob Klitsky talk about gathering up some kind of a quorum. A little bit different here as we do the morning show. Ismael Velez again asking if I slept in. No, I had to scare up some weather and all of that stuff. Juanita Machia is waving this morning. Hava Nick Perlowski. And who else is there? Leah Beth Nahalawa. She just likes to show her name there because she likes the way I say it. Mike McCarthy, Lynn Vince, Borja Polino. It's not a morning without them. And what have we got? A quote here, a longish quote from Ismael. This is deep. I do have to read it. If you're against my faith and beliefs on life, if you are against letting people speak by not letting them share the stage and you own the press, then you are against the First Amendment. And if your campaign wants to affect everyone's U.S. citizenship by disassociation with the United States, it means you're against the entire Bill of Rights. Ooh, that's deep stuff, babe. Very deep. Good morning, Brad Hewitt, listening all the way in Texas. Jose Martinez is there. Carl T.C. Gutierrez is up. Mo Cotton. And Mo, I run into your pretty daughter, Patty, yesterday. And remind me to tell you about the really cool thing that she did. Carl, as I said, Carl T.C. Gutierrez is there. We're looking for information on something that I think is going on at the house this weekend. Tim Lujan, Hafa Guam morning, he says. Richard Yu, Andy Tadenko. Who else is there? Ted Lewis is on. He was talking about the three home deportees that the governor was talking about yesterday. He says they stay in the custody. They say in the custody of the feds when in fact they're still at DEPCOR. I think that's probably just geography, right? They're in the custody of the feds, but they're reposed.
That sounds good to me.
Okay, over there. It's just a question of who's in charge of them now, and the people that are in charge of them now are the Fed, and the Fed gets to pick them up and drive them to the airport and put them on a plane. And the way I understand it is the Fed will take them if they're going to Chuk, they'll take them to the next island that's not Chuk. Because they don't want to get they don't want to be in Chuk when these guys' relatives start running around going, what happened? Those guys? Those guys are the ones that brought you in. And based on my read of this morning's magistrate report, could actually be a couple of more of those guys that find themselves on the home deportee list, which seems to be getting longer and more distinguished. Doris Mendiola is there. Jack Hattig is awake. Yuka Oguma from Guahan Insurance. Good morning. Nice to see you online. Carm Leon Guerrero. John Ray Taitano says, Biba Betness. It's true, isn't it, Joe Michael? Okay, give me more of the invitation there. Carl T.C. Gutierrez says, yes, there is something going on at the house, and Shelley and I are invited. You know, you can invite Dave and Mana, too. Carlos Barreto's there. Ken Leon Guerrero's here on the program. Imagine that. Carm Leon Guerrero and Bill Cruz, who is asking, William is asking, is 6:30 too early to bush cut? You know what, Bill? As long as you're not my neighbor, I don't care when you bush cut. The 6:30 in the morning for the people that are living adjacent to my place is on weekend mornings, Saturday, Sunday, and weekend mornings, probably a little bit early. You know, because there's babies that live in the neighborhood. I don't know about that. Vivian Cunningham is there, and Tess Leguatnia. Linda Gabriel, Elbert Eliason, pretty Ashley Calvo Rodriguez. Jules Elmer is on, and like that Nick Perlowski said, I need more cowbell. More cowbell in the mix. 6:22 in the morning, and it is the Friday before the general election. And we've finally made it to here. 4 days and a wake-up. Hi, Yvette. Nice to see you there. Patty Camacho Hughes and big sister Shelley Gibson. So we have today, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then the wake-up on Tuesday morning. And we'll give you the explains and where you need to go and what it is that you need to do. Actually, one of the people I've got to talk to this morning, and we'll do that in a little bit, is Maria Pangolina from the Guam Election Commission, just to sort out where they are now in office voting that you might be able to get away with today, and how it is. They're sending a lot of people. There's a bunch of guys from GPA and insurance companies around here, and that are members of the Guard and Reserve that are up in Saipan and Tinian now, and they need to vote in this election here. How precious is that vote? You ask the people that are running for office how precious that vote is. We got like 20 guys up in Saipan. I need to know that them to know how to vote for me in this upcoming election. So I'll work that out. Is it a fair practice? Is it an all right practice to say Happy All Souls Day? You know, some people taking the day off, some people grabbing some kind of a holiday, but I don't know. Is it a one of those kind of very reverential days off for some people? There's masses today, but you know, as I look at All Souls Day, not that I'm a great practitioner. Just I don't want to overload myself on this thing, but it occurs to me. The way most people do All Souls Day around here, it's like a reunion. You know, the families get together and go off to the gravesite, bring some 409 and some rags and clean everything off. You know, you see people the days leading up to All Souls Day, they'll be at the cemetery with paint and spackle, just making it, you know, doing detailing on the grave sites. I love that, and I love that about her. So I don't know that it's one of those unbelievably we can't smile on All Souls Day. It's not like Good Friday where you're not allowed to, you know, make noise until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I just have that feeling. So I hope for those of you that are Pigo bound, she says. For those of you that are headed to the grave sides and the cemeteries today, I hope you have a great reunion with the people that you're going to visit, and I'm sure that wherever they are, they're pleased that you remember them in their spirit. About 7 o'clock this morning, the very first of the All Souls Day masses will begin at Umatic Cemetery at 7 o'clock, Holy Cross Catholic Cemetery in Tsotsa at 7:30 this morning, Windward Hills at 9, the Maleso Cemetery at 9. 9:30 is Vicente Limtiaco Cemetery on Nimitz Hill. Guam Memorial Park at 11, Sumai Cemetery on Naval Station at 11, Guam Veterans Cemetery, PD, that's at 1 o'clock this afternoon, Windward Hills Memorial at 2, the Old Agate Cemetery at 3, and the one that we refer to as the big one, right? Pigo Cemetery is at 4 o'clock this afternoon, and the last of the All Souls Day masses will be at Mount Carmel Catholic Cemetery in Agate at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Also a big one, 6:26 in the morning. Plenty more of that kind of thing to come, and so as I try to get the program launched today in my head, looking at the table of contents, is there anything interesting there? Yes, there is. Congrats and shout-outs to what I think are the last of. You have to correct me if I'm wrong, and it's very possible that I am. The last of the fundraisers, Regine Bisco-Lee had hers at Lava last night. Kind of a combination, for a few people, Halloween gig and fundraiser. That was good. That was well attended. But I tell you what, you know, this has got to have been probably the most well attended fundraiser for somebody that's not right now running for public office. Is the fundraiser that Senator Dennis Rodriguez had last night over at Kento's. Big party. Lots of people showed up. You know why? Because Dennis Rodriguez is the last of the holdouts on the political endorsements in this gubernatorial season.
So who's he going to endorse?
You know,
Kevin.
Are
you going to say?
That's not my place to say. I can't get on the radio and say he was expecting him to last night. First of all, great attendance. There were a lot of people. Dennis's regular supporters and family were there, which was awesome. And then and it was funny because, like I said, it had a kind of a Halloween motif. And I walked in, as I'm walking in, this lady walks by and she's wearing a Frank and Alicia Believe shirt, and I thought, what a clever costume. What a great costume! And the more I looked around the room, she wasn't alone. There was a lot of people with the Frank and Alicia Believe thing. And I thought, I wonder if Ray Tenorio is going to get jealous here. But I didn't have a chance to ask him. He and his wife did show up around quitting time last night, so they were there as well. I didn't see a lot of people. You know, it's kind of like I'm giving a weather report, my observations on what it was like. But it was as packed at Kento's on a Thursday night as it is on Saturday night when the Latin cha-cha-cha and Barachu thing is going on. It was a terrific night. And there's pictures all over the place. I managed to snap a couple of pics of Dennis Rodriguez and I, and posted those on Facebook with the cryptic message, "Stay tuned for a very special announcement." And you can, if you want to, read whatever you like into that. I can't remember what time I posted it last night.
That bothered me last night.
Did it?
Yeah.
So I posted the thing up on Facebook last night, and then there was a surge of people at the door. There was a surge of people at the door. And a couple of them came up to me and said, "What's going on? How's it going? How's your Thursday?" And they're like, "Did he already say it? Did he say? Did he already say it?" I said, "Did he say what? Did he make the announcement here?" And I said, "Oh, no. We're going to do something on the radio." Yeah, because Dennis and I are like that. Anyway, for those of you that are now scouring my Facebook looking for the picture of Dennis and I, just a note, Dennis is not taller than I am. It's what I'm...
That's another thing that bothered me last night.
I want to just point that out. Dennis is not taller than I am. For those of you that have been at Kento's, you know that there's a ring around the bar, and there are steps. He was standing on the top step, and I was standing on the bottom step. So that's why it looks like that. But a man of great stature, not necessarily height, but a man of great stature, and certainly one of the gets here. So that was kind of one of the fun things that I got to participate in last night. See, even my sister Shelley is asking me, "Fess up, Mom, tell the stuffs from where you were." Well, there's crazy political gossip going on in that. Anyway, I tried to leave clues and breadcrumbs. That people can think what they want to think just because it's fun in my mind. It's 6:30 in the morning already. Now, time for our first look at headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Guam Daily Post this morning, a survey by CNMI's Hotel Association shows that 16 hotels are now up and running after Super Typhoon U2. Of those hotels, 75% of the rooms are available for occupancy. The others still in need of some repair. In addition, the Marianas Visitors Authority reporting that 80% of Saipan businesses are now open. 7% report they will open within the next week. CNMI Governor Ralph Torres has set November 15th as the target date to have essential systems operational so that commercial flights can resume at the Saipan International Airport. All maternal and child health care patients at the Guam Regional Medical City were transferred to Guam Memorial Hospital on Wednesday of this week. GRMC's maternal and child health care units have been closed and are no longer accepting new patients. Earlier this month, GRMC announced that it would be closing its maternity and pediatric units to expand its specialty services and reduce redundancies. GRMC is now advising all women and children aged 17 or younger in need of emergency services to go to a Guam Memorial Hospital. A release from GRMC states that GRMC and GMH are confident the new focus of services at each hospital will have a positive impact on Guam's health care. GRMC will be expanding its adult specialty care services and taking advantage of its previously underutilized second floor. For the third year in a row, the Guam International Airport Authority has earned full compliance certification from the Federal Aviation Administration following a safety and security inspection. The inspection showed 0 discrepancies and 100% compliance with federal regulations. The inspection included a review of runway and taxiway pavement markings and airfield lighting, an extensive review of firefighting training, self-inspections, and aircraft fueling operations was also conducted. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
It's 6:33, Kevin. That's iConnect time. Swing by iConnect later on or give them a call today at 888-8888 and find out why they are the practical choices. Awesome packages on things like that you need all the time. There's some mobile plans and internet and even push-to-talk. Change the way you do business with iConnect.
Half a day. I'm Selena Cruz Nelson. As your chairwoman of public safety, I have worked diligently to ensure the highest standards of training for our officers in order to keep you safe, maintain transparency, and increase manpower, all while working side by side with our executive branch officers. It's not always easy asking the hard questions, but with your support, I'm able to do so. On November 6th, I humbly ask for your vote so that I can continue the work of prioritizing our people. I'm Selena Cruz Nelson, and I approve this message.
I'm Ken Leon Guerrero, spokesperson for Guam Citizens for Public Accountability, reminding you that your vote counts. Help make Guam's future better than Guam's recent past by voting for the write-in candidate Frank Uggan and Alicia Limpiaco. And vote for the rest of the candidates recommended for a better Guam. You can find the list in the full-page ad in this Sunday's Guam Daily Post. For more information, visit Guam Citizens' website at www.guamc4pa.org.
Half a day. I'm Amanda Shelton, running to be your senator. I believe that Guam's best days are in front of us, and with hard work, new ideas, and common sense, we can overcome our challenges and make life better for everyone. I embrace the values of service and respect, and as your senator, I will act with passion, leadership, and courage to be your trusted public servant. I'm Amanda Shelton, number 3 Democrat, and I humbly ask for your vote. Sizuas Maasi.
Paid for by the committee to elect Amanda Shelton. Johnny Cole Torres, Treasurer.
I'm Ray Tenorio, and I approve this message. The Calvo Tenorio administration achieved a lot for Guam. The Tenorio administration will continue the progress and accomplish even more for our people. Tax refunds are now paid in months. Tony and I will get them paid in weeks. Calvo Tenorio repaired bridges like Bariso and roads like Hamburger and Machechi. After decades of need, TA will make sure all roadways will be fixed and made safe. We built GMH's intensive care unit and expanded the emergency room. Tenorio Ada will get our hospital a dedicated funding source and continue modernizing. Our law enforcement agencies seized over 100 million in illegal drugs. Tony and I will continue fighting the distribution of and the demand for drugs. Tenorio Ada will invest in your children through education and investment in our island's future. I'm Ray Tenorio, and I'm running for governor, and I humbly ask for your vote.
On November 6th, vote Tenorio Ada.
Let me take a look at the traffic gizmo and see if there's anything there. Nothing. I don't see anything. It's. I think it's one of those quiet days. Most of the traffic is going to be associated with cemeteries and nearby grave sites. I think that's where there's going to be the vast majority of people and cars on the road. There's a little bit of traffic southbound in Gigo. Looks like it's just around the schools. And then at the intersection of 4 and 10, a little bit of traffic beginning to build up on 4 as you make your way to the intersection at 4 and 10, but nothing happening at 8, 10, and 16. No lineups in front of Anderson Air Force Base or Navy Hospital or Sumai, so that's good. Hit the road, why don't you? 6:36 right now. Traffic playing on the point.
As a proud father, husband, taxpayer, citizen soldier, and son of Guam, I want to fight for our working class families who pay their taxes on time, send their kids to school, and abide by our laws while taxes rise and services suffer. For 13 years, I served you as a public school educator. For almost 13 years, I served you as a citizen soldier in the Guam National Guard. And now, as number 13 on the Democratic ballot, I want to serve you as your senator. Please vote Jack Hattick III for senator on November 6th.
So vote for Jack.
I'm Jack Hattick III, and I approve this message.
It's important to have claims process that works for you. At Guahan Insurance Services, we make things simple and convenient. Same door you walk in to purchase your insurance is the same door you open to file your claim. We can't pretend that the car insurance claims process is fun, but we can promise a hassle-free and speedy recovery without any runarounds. For your home, auto, and business insurance, visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center on Marine Corps Drive in Tamuning. Don't forget to like us on Facebook or give us a call at 475-1162 or text 929-SAVE. That's 929-7283.
Hi, folks. I don't have a lot of money to pay for fancy commercials or catchy jingles, but if you write me in as your governor, I will be the best governor you've ever had. And with Alicia Limpianco by my side, we will put you and your families first. Thank you, si Jesus Masi, and maraming salamat po. I'm Frank Blasogan Jr., and I approve this message.
The Ray Gibson Show, your new News Talk headquarters.
Hi, Mazuti. What is that?
You're laughing at me, right?
No, I'm just. We go from just somebody holding a phone off in the distance in front of Frank. That's the ad. But then it comes out with then they got the good microphone. We went from the one on the phone to the one in the studio. I approve this ad. That's good. That's good. All right, and he's right. He doesn't have a whole lot of money. There was a story at KUAM ran earlier in the week. Preliminary general election campaign finance filings show gubernatorial teams have so far spent $2.3 million. Again, that's just the gubernatorials, $2.3 million. You really got to go out and vote. You got to go out and get that vote. You know, the fewer people that vote, the more expensive those votes are. Think about $2.3 million. The Democratic team of Lou Leon Guerrero and Josh Tenorio lead all of the teams in terms of the amount of money spent and raised. No one is surprised at that statement. Lou and Josh have raised $1.8 million, and so far, as of the deadline on the reporting, spent $1.7 million for the general election. And we're still 4 days out. There is still time for even more of a blitz. The Republican team of Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio and former Senator Tony Addis raised $623,530 and so far have spent about $594,000 in the general election. What does that leave them here? About $26 million left? $27,000 left that they can spend? You know, that can still go far. $30,000 to buy a whole lot of radio ads, right? And then write-in candidates, Frank Jr. and attorney Alicia Limpianco, have raised and spent the least amount of money. They've so far raised $33,055 and spent $26,160. So they've got about $6,000 left. So we're not going to do a whole lot of bells and whistles ads, I guess. As much as just going to be, yeah. Here's the phone. Frank, look over here, and maybe just get a little bit closer to that so that the audio will sound good. 641-888-8255 is the telephone number. And that in and of itself is an interesting story. Could you imagine if they raised that kind of money there? It's $1.8 million and then lost? That would suck. That would be just a massive. You got to be kidding.
It would hurt.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I mean that's real dough for some people. All right, a bunch of other items on the table of contents here. As I said, interesting party at Kento's. If for no other reason, the political gossip that you will find in that room. As it pointed out, I think everybody now, especially if you spent $1.8 million. Or have raised $1.8 million, you want to get as much of this in the bag as possible. And even if you've only managed to raise $30,000, you want to try to get as much in the bag as possible. And with a write-in campaign, with the other two gubernatorial campaigns out there, everybody is scratching around looking for every single available vote. So you better believe there were a lot of people that were intently tuned in to find out where that last endorsement was going to go. I call it, Brad, an endorsement, not a recommendation. A point that Brad is making here is recommending to vote for nobody. Nobody should recommend that we vote for anyone. You recommend restaurants, not how to vote. Is that what happens? Says, don't worry, it'll be another type of write-off, a tax write-off. All right, understand. At any rate, so the last of the endorsements out there, and especially with the, I don't know, nationalistic tenor of the conversation recently, you would think that you'd need to get really, really close and embrace a certain ethnicity here on Guam. And Dennis Rodriguez has very, very close ties with that particular ethnicity. And it would be nice if Dennis Rodriguez would go to his supporters and people off of people from around his parts and say, here, I would like you to vote for so-and-so. I'd like to, I'm personally endorsing these guys. There was great entertainment last night. I need to say this. Besides the great political gossip going around, there was great entertainment. They brought out the cast of Rent, which is a play that is going to be going on end of this month, beginning of next month, and they've got international stars from stage that are a part of this. People that we know already, but there's people that have come in here and have been working with local talent, including my friend Jason Respicio, who did an outstanding solo number last night. Anyway, so when that's all done, Dennis Rodriguez got up there and made just a few very, very short remarks and pointed out some of his friends in the room, i.e. Senator Frank Uggan, former senator and Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio is here as well. If there were ever opportunities for an endorsement, pow, right there, in your face. But he went from there, made a couple of jokes about, just not quite zingers, but just a couple of tags about Ray or singing or something. Nothing about gun grabbing. And then that was it. He finished up his remarks, said, thanks, everybody. Love you, love Guam. And pew, that was it. That was it. And everybody went back to the tables and had a good time. Me, I'm taking pictures and uploading stuff to Facebook just to get mouths wagging around here because it's in my mind, as I say, it's fun. People ask me, ran into Lulian Guerrero yesterday. She said, "How you doing?" I said, "I'm amused." And she shot me that look. You know which look it is. The look she gives the other Ray. And I was trying to figure out, gee, am I going to have to explain this? And she said, well, she was talking about, are you amused by all of the negative ads? And I said, absolutely not amused by any of the negative ads that are floating around. I think it's cheap, and I think it's beneath whichever campaign is behind all of that stuff. But I did run into her and Ray Tenorio yesterday at the Rotary Club. I was talking about things being the last of earlier before I distracted myself. So I think the last of the political fundraisers, Kento's and Regine's thing over at Lava. And the last, I think, of the forums. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's no more, right, Kev? The forum at the Rotary Club yesterday?
As far as I know, that was the last one.
Yep. Yeah. Could you feel a little fatigue between the candidates?
It was pretty subdued compared to the fiery clash they had at UOG the other night. So.
Yeah. It's what my dad used to call the last rows of plowing the field. You're on the last rows here. You can see the end of it, and it's just almost kind of feel like they're itching for it to be over.
And at the end, it seemed like they complimented each other, and Ray thanked Lou and
for her service, all the things that she's done. It'd hardly tell that there was any bad blood between any of them at any point in this campaign. Yeah. She's done a good job. She could do a good job. I've done a good job. I'm going to do a good job for you. And so it was one of those things. Not a whole lot by way of fireworks or zingers back and forth between the two of them, as these forums will go. But as the moderator, I must say, I was tempted. I was tempted a couple of times to say, Lou, 60 seconds to rebut that. Ray, how about this? 60 seconds to rebut what Lou just said. The temptation was there, Kev.
Troublemaker.
What?
Yeah.
What? You know, if one of these days, I'd just like to get into one of those situations. I'm personally trying to make trouble with a couple of female anchors over at KUAM and the PNC. And I noticed between all of the media that was there covering this and all of the ink and all of the stories that have been done on this, not one of them mentioned my cleverness while I was up there. And my mental organization and my aptitude for the job.
With sexual harassment.
Is that what? Hey, listen. You know it's good when Lulian Guerrero's holding the microphone, looking at you and saying, "Oh my God, Ray, you're so bad." And thank you very much, Lou, for acknowledging my frisky behavior. So I think that was it. And then the recommendation at this point is, if you are running for those offices. And frankly, if you're running for any office and you don't need to do a whole lot of campaigning right now, you don't need to be stumping, you don't need to be making speeches, you don't need to have somebody with a camera in front of you, perhaps taking some kind of video that will find its way to Facebook. Now is the time for you to go underground. Now is the time for you to think of all of the things that you put off at the house. Painting rooms, folding clothes, mopping floors, just a general, and just stay in. Starting now. You go take care of whatever you got to do, all your All Souls Day masses and all of the devotions that you're going to do. Maybe Mass on Sunday, something like that. And then just stay away from the limelight because you don't want to be in a position where... where you're making that noise. You don't want to be in a position where you could say something or be seen saying or doing something that can, in a very, very short amount of time, because you know how it is on Guam, in a very short amount of time, all of the work, all of the campaigning that you've done, all of the initiatives that you have taken could evaporate just like that. And I'll say it again because I believe Dr. Ron McNinch is right. We are here in the midst of one of the busiest non-super holiday social weekends that we're going to be having. There's All Souls Day today. We've been through Halloween, and I know what everybody was talking about in Halloween. There's going to be numerous get-togethers and opportunities for people to talk to each other and share their analysis of what this election season is going to be looking like all weekend long. And then, of course, there's the election Tuesday, which means that if something were to happen to you over the weekend, all you would have is Monday to correct it. So, as I said, politicians, unless you got nothing to lose and everything to gain, stay home, be underground. The things to avoid. Are there things? No, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily avoid this. This is one of those cases where I would probably not take my own advice. There's 3 5Ks this weekend. This is going to be another good one. Chamorro Village tomorrow at 5:30. Everybody going to show up, and we'll Zumba with the St. Paul Warriors. It's the Heart of a Warrior 5K tomorrow at Chamorro Village. Chamorro Village on Sunday at 5:30 in the morning. UOG's SHRM 5K. This is the Society for Human Resources Management at the University of Guam, and you can sign up at Virtual Run Guam, Payless Supermarkets, and or just show up on the site and sign up there. This UOG SHRM, should be a lot of people showing up at both of these Saturday Sunday runs. And then there's is there another one? The Smurf 2K 5K. 5 a.m. go time at 6 a.m. Chamorro Village, Sunday, November the 4th, 2018. Can we have 2 5Ks launching from Chamorro Village at the same time? I suppose you could. Somebody from the running club, get back to me and let me know how this is going to be working. Are they going to be going in opposite directions? So you get one group, SHRM will go southbound towards Adelup, and maybe with the Smurf 2K 5K go northbound towards Alupang. Maybe that's the way it's going to work. But I imagine there's going to be people that will do that and figure out which direction they're going to be going and talking about election stuff. 6:52 in the morning. Other items in the table of contents, maybe not having a lot to do with politics here. The big donation to the Adzuta Foundation that Kevin Kerrigan was talking about in the front of this, the entire
from the Israeli family.
No, Israel.
Israel
it's
family.
It's just Israel. It's not Israel.
Sorry. mispronounced that earlier.
That's okay. Just as long as we spell the name right in print, and you guys have done an outstanding job with that. The Azuda Foundation received its biggest monetary donation for the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands Typhoon Relief Fund, a $100,000 check from the Israel family and group of companies. $100,000. And so there's a picture. We got Jude and Donna and my godbrother Mike, and who's Frank Blas Jr. accepting the $100,000 check that has been presented to them. And that money will go a long ways towards recovery for folks up in the Saipan and the CNMI. And a conversation that I was having with Patty Cotton and Tommy, we were at another thing last night. And they asked how I thought things were going, because I hear a lot about relief efforts. Obviously, there's every single day in every media, there's a story about how tough things are in Saipan, how tough things are in Tinian. And the folks up there need help now and will need our help for an awful long time. And so she was asking, how can we help? And I talked a little bit about the Azuda Foundation, some of the other things that they were doing. And in my mind, though, it's not how we're going to help, or where the money needs to come from and go. I'm worried about the kids up there. I really, truly am sincerely worried about the kids. And I don't have a whole lot. I've got an idea about collecting up, stuffed animals and putting those in a container and sending them up to Saipan and handing them out to the kids just so they've got something new and soft and cuddly that they can hold on to. But I don't know how to get things like that started. If you want to do something like that, then let me know. Or maybe you've got another idea on things that we can do to get the kids together and let them have as good Thanksgiving and as good a Christmas and New Year's as possible. Hey, Mark, what you doing?
Yeah, just over at my dad's house feeding my koi fish. So I'm calling you about the 5K. If there are 2 5Ks going on at once, I know it probably tickled your mind that, hey, maybe I could run both and get both T-shirts,
right?
And win both prizes too.
I did actually have that thought going through my head. How can I manage to do? You take somebody like a Ryan Matienzo, right? Or Derek Mindell, right? You get those. So yeah, one of them. I mean, they could literally start the OG Sherm 5K, and if they do it right, come back. And start the Smurf 2K 5K maybe 18 minutes in and still manage to beat the majority of people that will run in both races.
Exactly.
Yes. I'm not like that. It'd be 7 o'clock before I came in. It'd be 7. But yeah, there's any number of folks that might actually ponder the notion of doing them. Because it's at the end of the day, as Joanne Brown would say, at the end of the day, we're just talking about, what is that, 10 kilometers?
Yeah.
6.2 miles? That's a good training. That's a good training way. That's a good. So you know what? I've got you on the line. And here we are not talking politics. It's Friday before the general election, Mark.
Yeah.
Are you prepared? I'm
prepared.
Are you prepared to make a prediction at this time?
No.
Well said. Well said. And I will take that a step further. This is not Mark hedging his bets. This is not Mark hedging his bets. This is not him, just leaving some daylight to be able to reverse himself. I am exactly the same way. I am not prepared to make any kind of prediction here.
Yeah, it's really too close a race right now.
But is it close enough that it would demand a recount? I mean, not a recount, but a runoff. Because there's going to be a recount. I'll tell you that right now. No matter what happens on the morning of November the 7th, we will hear calls and demands for a recount from somebody.
I'm not going to doubt you on that. Now, whether the Frank and Alicia team would force a runoff, that's a very distinct possibility.
Isn't it?
Yes.
So are you leaning towards that? Can we make that the prediction, that there is going to be a runoff?
I would give it better than 2/3 chance.
That's pretty significant. That's pretty significant. Do you think that there will be, as I've been suggesting, there needs to be an endorsement by Senator Dennis Rodriguez? You know, he wasn't the biggest vote getter in the primary election. I'd have to go back and take a look and see what numbers he did get. But trust me, the numbers of people that did vote for him, that was no accident. Those are loyal people, and they'll do as he suggests. If he makes an endorsement to one of the three camps, I think that would be to their benefit. Do you think he will? And if he does, who's it going to be?
I thought when I saw your Facebook last night, I thought that was the announcement. You were at the Halloween thing. I thought we were going to see Dennis's endorsement, but we didn't. So,
but we didn't see it last night.
Well, I will say one thing. A lot of the supporters were at the Hugo Bota rally last week, including his dad. I wasn't sure if his mom was there either, but his dad was there.
I'd heard that rumor.
That wasn't a rumor. I saw him.
No, I'm just saying I'd heard the rumor. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So we got all that going on. I'm going to listen. You got a big day ahead of you with the All Souls Day and all of the other activities that are going to be taking place this weekend. So ponder and try to stay out of trouble.
Yeah. Well, everyone is just going to support. I don't think too many people are going to change their minds from here on in, but it's the write-in campaign that everybody has to pay attention to. How much it's going to affect this election, and it really is a significant push on all the social media, on all the radio stations, on all the news. It's just something that we haven't seen before, except when I wasn't old enough to understand it when Governor Cabo ran in '74.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was just a little kid. I mean, it's a nice historical notion, but here we are, our generation, our time, and then there is the prospect of something like this happening. But as I said yesterday in the opening remarks, this election from day one has been among the more interesting elections that we've had, starting with four people vying for on the Democratic side and just one team on the Republican side. That was crazy to begin with, and so it's not really surprising that we find ourselves here now. One of three possible scenarios: Frank and Lou, Lou and Ray, or Ray and Frank. Those are the possible runoff scenarios. Run that through your computer and see what happens. Marcus, I got to run because Fox News Live is coming up next. The radio station is KUSG. Got you. Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post on the other side of that, and we'll take a look at the market too.
Changing the rules for asylum. I'm Rich Dennison, Fox News. President Trump spoke about immigration a short time ago, announcing changes in how his administration would handle requests for asylum, claiming most such requests are fraudulent and the current system is being abused.
Under this plan, the illegal aliens will no longer get a free pass into our country by lodging meritless claims in seeking asylum. Instead, migrants seeking asylum will have to present themselves lawfully at a port of entry.
The president calling the movement of migrants from Central America to the nation's southern border a crisis. Mexican immigration authorities so far haven't tried to detain migrants in the largest caravan of Central Americans now walking through the southern part of their country. Officials say it's a different story with the second, smaller caravan of migrants about 200 miles behind them. The groups are hoping to seek asylum once they reach the U.S. next month. The Trump administration announcing new sanctions against 3 Latin American governments today.
National Security Advisor John Bolton labeled Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua a troika of tyranny. Each, Bolton says, represents destructive forces of oppression, socialism, and totalitarianism. He announced new sanctions against those countries, including prohibiting U.S. citizens from trading in gold exported from Venezuela. The Cuban measure adds names to a list of already sanctioned officials. Bolton made the announcement in Miami, home to thousands of people who have fled all 3 countries.
Fox's Jared Halpern at the White House. The truck driver accused of gunning down 11 people at a Pittsburgh synagogue last Saturday has pleaded not guilty to federal charges that could put him on death row. Robert Bowers was arraigned today, just a day after a grand jury issued a 44-count indictment charging him with murder, hate crimes, obstructing the practice of religion, and other crimes. This is Fox News.
As I look around, there are so many longtime Democrats, but it doesn't serve the good of our island or our Democratic Party when we don't embrace the will of our party. And that will was choosing Lou and Josh.
The people that have been forgotten, we will bring people helping people back. I'm banking on Lou and Josh.
I want to invite those Democrats, those Republicans that are sitting maybe on the sidelines. Well, I want to tell them that they have a home here with us.
Family is about more than who you are related to. It includes everyone. This election is coming down to one value and one value only: trust. Who will you trust to protect the people of Guam?
And I approve this ad.
President Trump's announcement yesterday that he'll deploy up to 15,000 military troops to the border to stop that group of migrants seeking asylum, catching Pentagon officials off guard.
The Pentagon says it's planning to send only half that number. In a statement, the U.S. Northern Command says more than 7,000 troops would deploy to the southern border. The head of U.S. forces in North America says more than 5,200 troops would be in Texas by the weekend. The troops will support the Border Patrol. Their deployment orders expire December 15th. At the Pentagon, Lucas Tomlinson, Fox News.
Wisconsin authorities are scaling back their ground search for a missing 13-year-old girl whose parents were shot dead last month. Barron County Sheriff Chris Fitzgerald says as tips dry up, authorities are transitioning from a round-the-clock reactive operation to a more methodical investigative approach. A New York City man is suing a candy company for his health problems.
David Goldberg, who is 73, loves black licorice Twizzlers, and he says he eats at least one standard-sized bag of the treats per week. Has done it for years, he says. Goldberg was diagnosed last year with a heart problem and put on medication. Now he's suing the maker of the candy, the Hershey Company, because he says there were no warnings on the Twizzlers bag that said the product could lead to heart conditions. He claims that Hershey knew for years that its candy posed a health threat and didn't warn consumers. A Hershey spokesman wouldn't comment, citing the pending suit. In New York City, Tanya J. Powers, Fox News.
LL Bean is looking to sell more parkas, sweaters, flannel, and mittens in Canada. The U.S. retailer will begin selling its iconic cold weather gear north of the border beginning this holiday season. There will be 30 stores in the initial rollout, and the company will also launch LL Bean branded stores over the next decade. The company will also set up a dedicated website for Canadian customers, one that incorporates duties and helps make currency conversions. I'm Rich Dennison. This is Fox News.
Regine Biscoe-Lee isn't always the loudest senator, but that's because she's busy getting things done. Regine fought higher taxes from day one. Her first bill sent senatorial pay raises to public schools instead of politicians' pockets. And she took the governor to court when some politicians asked for nearly $200 million in new debt. Want a senator that strengthens our economy, champions our environment, and protects our children? Vote Regine Biscoe-Lee for senator. Regine Biscoe-Lee, strong, honest, effective.
I'm Regine Biscoe-Lee, and I approve this message.
Hi folks, I don't have a lot of money to pay for fancy commercials or catchy jingles, but if you write me in as your governor, I will be the best governor you've ever had. And with Alicia Limtianco by my side, we will put you and your families first. Thank you, si Diyos Masi, and maraming salamat po.
I'm Frank Blasogan Jr., and I approve this message.
KFC has finally answered the world's most important question. What came first, the chicken or the egg? And the answer is both. Introducing KFC's KFC AM, their new Southern and local-inspired breakfast. AM-loaded platter with chicken fried rice, waffles, and Colonel's chicken congee. KFC also has your all-time favorites, AM chicken and egg wraps, Southern biscuit and sausage sandwich, and hash browns. So for finger-licking good mornings, AM will never be the same at KFC. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
If we want change to happen, we need to show Washington that our issues matter to the American people. Let's take our issues into the halls of Washington and into the American heartland. Powerful change comes from the grassroots up. We have done this successfully as your senator and are ready to bring our issues to the American people as your congressman. I humbly ask for your vote. I'm Michael F. Cusa-Nicholas, and I approve this message.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 8 minutes past 7 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The Rotary Club of Guam yesterday hosted the final exchange between the Republican and Democratic Party candidates for governor. It was a mild exchange between Republican Ray Tenorio and Democrat Lou Leon Guerrero compared to their heated clash 2 days earlier at the UOG Fieldhouse. The write-in team of Senator Frank Uggan Jr. and Alicia Lim Tiaco asked to take part, but their request was denied. They stood at the door to greet the Rotarians, but left before the forum got underway and later responded to the same questions in an email. Among the questions asked was, what would you do in your first 100 days in office if elected governor? Tenorio said it's important that we have a dedicated funding source for the Guam Memorial Hospital. That's first and foremost, he said. Leon Guerrero said she'd go to Rev and Tax and make sure that the collectors there have the tools and the resources they need to collect unpaid taxes. Uggan said his first priority would be to establish a financial team to determine the status of all cash available within GovGuam accounts and establish a government restructuring and consolidation team. At Superior Court yesterday, the attorney for former police officer Mark Torre Jr. appealed to the Guam Supreme Court yesterday to reverse Torre's negligent homicide conviction in the shooting death of a fellow police officer, Albert Piolo. Piolo died after being shot once below his right armpit with Torre's gun in the early morning hours of July 13, 2015. Attorney Anita Areola argued that the Superior Court had erred. She said Torre was taken into custody immediately after the shooting and had not been given his Miranda rights when statements he made were recorded by another officer on a body cam. Therefore, those statements, she said, should not have been shown to the jury. They were involuntary and inadmissible and should have been suppressed. Assistant Attorney General Marianne Wolochuk countered that Torre was not in custody at the time the recording was made. She said Torre was very drunk when he was put on the tailgate outside the home where Piolo was shot, and it was only natural that police would try to steady him. But he had not yet been arrested. Therefore, the remarks he made that were recorded on the body cam were admissible as evidence. The justices took the arguments under advisement and will issue a decision at a later time. We'll have more news after this.
Hi, folks. I don't have a lot of money to pay for fancy commercials or catchy jingles, but if you write me in as your governor, I will be the best governor you've ever had. And with Alicia Lim Tiaco by my side, we will put you and your families first. Thank you, si Jesus Masi, and maraming salamat po.
I'm Frank Blas Uggan Jr., and I approve this message.
Subway Restaurants is celebrating World Sandwich Day this Saturday, November 3rd, with a delicious deal. Buy one, get one free. That's right. Buy any sub in a 30-ounce drink, and we'll give you another sub free. Create your favorite sub any way you want it, toasted or not, with cheese or without. Add a pile of fresh veggies, your favorite sauce, and share a free sub with a friend or family member. Visit any of Subway's 14 locations and celebrate World Sandwich Day with the buy one, get one free all-day event. Saturday, November 3rd. Subway. Make it what you want.
11 minutes past 7 a.m. here at The Point. All maternal and child health care patients at Guam Regional Medical City were transferred to Guam Memorial Hospital Wednesday. GRMC's maternal and health child care units have been closed and are no longer accepting new patients. Earlier this month, GRMC announced that it would be closing its maternity and pediatric units to expand its specialty services and reduce redundancies in health care on island. GRMC is now advising all women and children aged 17 or younger to seek care at Guam Memorial Hospital. However, Should any woman or child in need of emergency care go to GRMC's emergency department, they will not be turned away. A release from GRMC states that GRMC and GMH are confident the new focus of services at each hospital will have a positive impact on Guam's health care. GRMC will be expanding its adult specialty care services and taking advantage of its previously underutilized second floor. The Israel family group of companies donated $100,000 to the Atzuta Foundation yesterday for Super Typhoon U2 relief. The $100,000 check was personally delivered to the Atzuta Foundation by Jude Baker, Donna Israel Baker, and Michael Israel, who heads the Israel group of companies. The Israel group of companies was founded by the late Guam businessman and philanthropist Al Israel, who passed away last year. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Right now with a look at weather.
All right, I've got the weather all queued up and ready to go. What do we got here? Isolated showers. Mostly sunny skies today. It's going to be warm, 89-degree high with a heat index to take things to about 93, 77 degrees for an overnight low tonight. Winds coming out of the east, I believe, 10 to 14 miles an hour, 9 to 13 miles an hour a little bit later on. And I just feel like it's legion, it's legend, it's tradition. I should put up the radar map, if for no other reason, for practice. It's just there's the radar map, and you can see, yes, the wind coming from around the eastern place, and it's going that way. And it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of clouds. Big Joe, real Joe Cruz, Joe Cruz.
What we have here is a little bit of trough to the high pressure zone. The low pressure is coming in and moving in from the west. I'm sorry, I'm no Michael Knight.
Do you know any big words? Let's make up some new big weather words. As you can see, the Merkel happening through the region right now, and it's the Merkel seance that's coming down from the north that's going to bring some cooler, drier air to the region before too much longer. There we go, 7:13. That's news and weather together right here on The Point.
I have dedicated my career to protecting the most vulnerable and ensuring a safer community for our families and our children. I know public corruption is a cancer on our government, and if not rooted out, the cancer grows. Officials have a duty to ensure and uphold the integrity of our government. I will, working with our community, hold accountable those who violate the public's trust.
I'm Frank Blasagun Jr., and I approve this message.
But I'm supposed to talk now? Which part? Oh, King's Restaurant. What's today? Friday? Friday, if memory serves correct, Friday is Beef Tinactac Day for lunch over at King's. Yesterday was meatloaf, beef tinactac. Monday it's going to be Salisbury steak. Every weekday, they've got a different lunch special because they know what it is that we like to eat, and they know. And just have it ready because lots of people are going to come in and want this. If you don't like that, they got a pick 2, pick 3 combo that'll work for you as well for lunch and actually for any time at King's.
It's Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary, and to celebrate, we are giving away a new Kia Soul LX, a Mazda 3i Sport, the popular Honda Civic LX, and 30 Manila Flyaways during our 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway. Win 3 great cars from Triple J Auto Group, 30 Flyaways from Philippine Airlines, plus thousands of prizes from Burger King and Foot Locker when you play Micronesia Mall's 30th anniversary Drive-Away Flyaway.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point, brought to you by First Hawaiian Bank, where it all starts with yes. What else we got working here? American President Lines, where they're shipping the future. American Water Tech, smarter water, better water. The guys over at Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs. And, of course, Micronesia Renewable Energy. There's never been a better time to go solar.
After 34 years as your public servant, my commitment to serve our people has never wavered. I've never cared about making money. My greatest compensation is when I can help a disabled veteran, a cancer patient, or a struggling family to get the assistance they rightfully need and deserve. Public service has always been my calling. I'm Tina Munya Barnes, and I humbly ask for your vote. I'm Tina Munya Barnes, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Tina Munya Barnes, Vince Moffness, treasurer.
The Ray Gibson Show. News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out.
awesome. All of the numbers are moving in the right direction. Everything that I need to see in the market report is moving in the right direction. I feel the need to to share with you. Keith Parsky in D.C. says, listening to the restaurant ads really makes me miss my island. Well, you were back here recently, and I hope when you were back here, they took you to a bunch of the new restaurants. I like the combination of new and old restaurants that we've got around here. There are places like Mosa's that I enjoy going to, and Pika's, and places like that, and Kitchen Lingo, which is an incredible place, and they just recently changed the menu, and I've got to say that Pika and the hubby did an outstanding job with that. I attended. It wasn't like it was one of those, invitation only things. Here's Ray Gibson, the big shot. Let's make sure he's here. It was one of those things where you actually had to pay, but I knew it was going to be good, so I happily paid for a seat at Kitchen Lingo for the unveiling, if you will, of their new menu. Just exciting. Anyway, 770. So there's that. But every once in a while, I get into thinking about some of the old restaurants that we used to have that are long gone, that I would kill to eat at one more time. Now, you bring up the subject anytime, and invariably you will hear somebody say "Cool Spot." And I'll agree. There was something about the burgers and the ribs that they used to have at Cool Spot. I don't know that you and I have ever chased this particular topic down, but Jerry Roberts, a man of the world, and somebody in his years as the #1 highest rated in the history of the island, highest rated morning guy. People bending over backwards to buy you a free lunch, buy you a fancy dinner.
Keep going. I'm not going to stop you.
Where was your favorite place to go? Where'd you like? I mean, that's not here anymore.
Not here anymore.
Yeah, that you would kill to have a lunch or a dinner at again.
Okay, well that goes under PV. Actually, that would be
PV,
pre-vegetarian.
Oh, right. Okay.
When meat was...
I'm trying not to short circuit your scruples here, sir.
Oh, yeah. When meat was on the menu, there was a Cool Spot with one.
Yep.
Yeah. There was Kinney's on the back road.
Yeah, that one. That's the fried. What is it? The shrimp.
The shrimp.
Yeah, the fried shrimp.
They had the onion rings.
Oh, God, yes.
They had, I mean, it's just, if you wanted to put the feed bag on, right, for not a lot of money, you would just head for Kinney's.
Yes.
Right, and just sit back and loosen the belt a couple of notches, and just the whole family went in there and ate for like nothing.
$10, a table of 10 are fed.
Whatever it was.
And this is not an exaggeration either. I mean, that was a great family restaurant in the back road.
Yeah, and it was run by a family. I mean, that was legitimately a family operation. So that was one of them. Let me see. Those are the two that jump out, right away.
Galleon Grill.
Galleon Grill would have been the other one. Yeah, another one there. Only think about that. But those are the things come off the top of the head. Yep. Places that we would go and kind of hang out.
Yep. Kenley and Guerrero says Kinney's on back road was better. Yeah, a lot of great spots, and he's agreeing. Shrimp and the onion rings, definitely what they were known for. I was thinking about forget the name of it now, above Guam Lock and Key, but back in the old days, it was Robo's. You remember Rob Call's place?
Yeah.
Do you remember? It was a great place to hang out and just do a nice little sunshiny luncheon that they had in there, and they made. I gotta say, the second best lasagna I've ever had on Guam was at Robo's. The first one was at Latino's, which is across from where the Paseo is now.
There you go, Latinos, and
I love going in there.
And cousin Bernie, and
Bernie just sit down with you. And
yeah,
you might be on a date, and Bernie doesn't care. I'm just going to sit down and talk with you. Oh, Cleveland Cowboy, that one.
Oh yeah.
Definitely some great times, some great old restaurants. Popo's Steakhouse. I don't remember that one. Popo's Steakhouse, according to Kenley and Guerrero. Seahorse, yes. Seahorse. was a great Sunday night.
That was a great restaurant.
Yeah, that was a great Sunday night restaurant.
What was the Italian place? I'm trying to. This goes way back. This would be in the 70s. Way back, an Italian restaurant, and I'm trying to think even where they were, and.
Sargosi's?
Sargosi's.
Yes.
There you go.
This is a pizza joint.
Pizza joint.
Yes,
Yeah. But it is
about
Italian.
where the mobile gas station is, next to the jewelry store.
Yeah.
Is you don't know. I'm looking at real Joe Cruz.
These young guys.
Yeah, was sitting in a warm bath of food nostalgia here. This is going to be what a great way to. So because it's All Souls Day, a lot of people are thinking about old times and memories with their families.
With their
so
families.
when you make your way to the grave and as you're cleaning things up and saying your hellos, try to remember some of the great family restaurants that you went to.
We had an A&W at one time.
I remember fond memories of the
We had
A&W
an Orange
root beer.
Julius place at one time.
Right across.
By the bank, where Citibank sit, or used to sit. Pretty close to that.
Right, almost directly across from the Infusion in Tamuning is where the Orange
Is that what it
Julius was.
was?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
where the car dealership is. In that corner, there's a building, and that building housed the Orange Julius.
Yeah, the A&W was in East Agonia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The A&W has a distinction. They closed the A&W the day the McDonald's in Tamuning opened.
Was that it?
That was that. I guess they got the message. When they opened the door to that one, that's it.
I miss Pojo's. I want them to bring that one back desperately. I always like that. El Pollo Loco was the original franchise, and then I think they didn't want to pay the franchise anymore. Just call it Chicken. We'll just call the place Chicken. Anyway, 7:23. Let me take a quick look at what happened on the markets. Like I said, everything seems to be rolling back where it's supposed to. Dow Jones Industrial Average 25,380. Another big jump here, and it has everything to do with President Trump talking about meetings that he had with China and Zhao in China that makes it look like the concerns about trade war might have been exaggerated. Nasdaq at 7434, they're up 128 points. S&P 500 at 2,740. They closed 28 points higher as they went through the market day. FTSE is down. The Nikkei is off by almost 300 points. Hang Seng Index at 25,416. Shanghai is up, and so is the DAX. Now, as I was talking about numbers that I need to see moving in the right direction, I need the market numbers to be going up, but I need commodity numbers to be going down. West Texas crude, $63.54 a barrel for the American benchmark. That's good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Tapas at $77.84. You might recall last couple of times we looked at it was $79.97. Closer now to the middle of that. Yeah.
Okay, I just think we need to give the oil companies some respect and love.
Mm-hmm.
And today we are giving you permission to lower the gasoline prices.
Somebody needed to say that. Yeah.
I'm sure they're listening.
This is not born out of hate and malice.
Right.
I bear no malice in my heart toward you. I give you permission today, out of the goodness of your heart, to lower the gasoline prices because you know you should, and it's in the interests of all of the people of Guam. We love you.
Somebody should be. It's probably too late to do it now, but like Lou or Ray. Which one of the two is on the ropes worse, Lou or Ray? So whichever one do you think they need to come out and say, if you elect me, I'll lower the price of gas. I'll just bang right now. There will be cheaper gas on Guam, and we'll find ways to keep it cheap.
I'd like that idea.
We're used to broken promises. What's wrong with just one more?
I think. Well, first of all, the Bank of Guam is worth hundreds of billions of dollars, aren't they?
$2 billion, according to Lou. Assets at $2 billion.
I thought it was 102.
No, at the Rotary yesterday, she said that she took it from
$900 million.
And now it's at $2 billion worth of notes.
If they just buy all the gas stations and then subsidize it and subsidize the price, they can bring it down to like $1.
Well, there is a conversation that was led by
I don't know.
Mark Forbes. Mark Forbes, you'll recall Mark was a smoker. I used to be a smoker, and every once in a while we'd get together and smoke cigarettes and solve the problems. And one of the problems that we figured we might be able to solve. I mean, there's nothing you can get. You cannot get any better, any lower than the refined and delivered price of gasoline on Guam.
Yep.
Can't be done. And who's to say that the prices that we are paying right now are that far away from the refined and delivered price on Guam?
Well, no one knows.
That's right. Nobody knows. But wouldn't it be cool if there was like a kind of a cost you less model, or a subscription model, where you and I are members of a club, and our membership into this club buys us gasoline at wholesale prices, at refined and delivered prices. Wouldn't that be? Would you like to be a member of that club?
I'd like to be a member of that club. We used to refine.
Could the government of Guam? Could the government of Guam be the club?
Sure.
Could the government of Guam actually become dealers, participants in this club, where they bought the refined and delivered products, kept it in their tanks, and put it over at government gas stations?
Yeah, I mean, it's possible.
I'm thinking about GMH and Guam Regional Transit Authority as I say this.
There's a whole lot of people right now in the business community saying, "What's he talking about? More government."
I'm just saying that was one of the ideas that was being floated back when we were all panicked when gasoline went to $3 a gallon.
Yeah, let us not forget that we at one time refined fuel on this island.
I remember.
And there was a company called Gorco, Guam Oil and Refining Company. And they refined jet fuel for the military. But I asked them one time, there's a fellow named Fred Cochran who was out here, and I said, what would it take you to refine gasoline?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they ever implemented any of that, but he said, oh, yeah, they could do that. But Gorco was out of business several years later, and I think Shell or somebody bought the refinery and did some other things with it. But we've done that before. I mean, that's doable here.
What was it that we were able to get kerosene or LP gas or something really, really cheap, because it was one of the things that was coming out of the pipe at that refinery company. 7:28 in the morning, and plenty of reminiscing and plenty of numbers to play around with for you. Jerry Roberts is in the studio. That must mean we're doing today's Extra Point live.
Ooh. Speaking of reminiscing, this fellow right here may bring back some memories for some folks. His name is Bob Jones, one of the larger-than-life people that you meet, if you're so fortunate. When he talks, people tend to listen because he says things that people need to hear. Today, a few bits of wisdom from businessman Bob Jones on the Extra Point. Bob Jones is the chairman of Triple J Enterprises. I interviewed him for Directions Magazine, this one right here, in December of 1996. And looking back on that, he had some interesting things to say about business and about Guam's future. He had been the executive vice president of Guam's then largest enterprise, J&G, a widely diversified company. And diversification was a big deal in Guam in those days. Opportunity seemed to be everywhere. Jones said, every once in a while, I see an opportunity for making widgets, and I'm not a widget maker. My advice to young entrepreneurs in this day and time is to have some degree of diversification, but not too much. Doing one thing very well and being known for that before you jump into something else is the way to go. Now, that works if you have your own business, or if you work in somebody else's company, or if you work in the government. Becoming known for doing one thing very well is still the way to go. Now, what skill or business attribute is it that you are best known for? Bob Jones was here when Guam tourism was born, and his was one of the first voices I recall saying that Gov Guam should invest money on making the tourism product better and less on promotion for a couple of years. He said the numbers were going up. And here comes an example of North Carolina wisdom. I don't think you need to pour fuel on a fire which is already burning out of control. I'm going to say that again. I don't think you need to pour fuel on a fire which is already burning out of control. Most people just wanted to promote, get tourists here, take their money, and not worry too much about the details. Jones' vision was that if the product was great, people would find out about you and show up, and we get a whole lot more of them. Over the years, others have echoed Bob's words, but I don't think we as a destination have ever fully embraced this concept. He said that he felt Guam could handle 3 to 4 million tourists a year, but that we lacked focus. He advocated developing a policy paper for investors that told them what Guam was after, what was available to them, and what we wanted them to do. I don't know if we've ever done that. Now, Jones said 2 million tourists a year. Listen to this. 2 million tourists a year doesn't mean that we'll have a quality destination. Those are powerful words. In the 1996 interview, he said he wouldn't be surprised if by now China was our #1 tourism customer. he had said, well, 20 years from now, and that's 1996, that would have been 2016. It hasn't happened, but it wasn't for lack of trying. The federal government just won't allow that to happen. Now, I've had the opportunity to talk with him several times over the years and have always come away learning something. Bob has always envisioned great things for Guam and the Western Pacific region. If you ever have the opportunity to talk with him, he might tell you to make sure that your bucket is upright when those good times are happening, so you'll get your share. Solid words today from a pillar of Guam's business community, Bob Jones. That's the extra point. Get out there and make something good happen today. For 93.3 and the Ray Gibson Show, where his bucket is always upright. I'm Jerry Roberts.
As usual, a great piece and a great look at the life and times and wisdom of Bobby Jones. And you got to say it like that. It's Bobby.
That's right.
But I cannot with a straight face do that. And no matter where I am or what I'm doing, I always say, hello, Mr. Jones.
Mr. Jones.
That's right, because I'm born and raised to respect my elders, especially the rich ones. It's 7:32 in the morning. Jerry Roberts with the extra point. Kevin Kerrigan's got headlines coming up.
Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors. Our signature fajitas are served with sliced bell peppers, caramelized onions, topped with chipotle garlic butter, and chopped cilantro. Build your fajita with over 16 ounces of tender grilled chicken, juicy steak, and a dozen pieces of seasoned grilled shrimp in the family fajita trio. All served with warm flour tortillas and fresh toppings like mixed cheese, guacamole, salsa, and pico de gallo. Experience bold, sizzling fajita flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here.
Let's see the traffic gizmo, if there's anything working in there that you've got to worry about. I don't see any traffic lined up in front of Anderson Air Force Base. Navy Hospital is starting to build, and it looks like it is building in the... if you were heading north on that street, sorry, south. If you're heading towards Navy Hospital, you'll start to see traffic build up. In front of Sumai, it is clear. Looking at some of the other important roadways that we'd like to see, getting into and out of Agana, no major problem. Nothing happening on Route 4. Nothing major on 10 that I can see either. 8, 10, and 16. A little bit of traffic building on the way to 8, 10, and 16 on Route 8, but otherwise it's clear everywhere else.
Let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Kevin, you don't have a bus to catch or anything, do you? You're okay if I can step and ask a question? Last night,
yes,
I'm watching my Facebook because I did that last night. Don't do it all the time, but I'm watching Facebook last night.
I'm doing it now.
Okay. On Facebook last night comes a blurb from Ray Gibson that says, stay tuned. Important announcement. Very important announcement or big announcement coming.
Yes.
He was standing there with Dennis Rodriguez.
Yes.
Both in costume. Now, either Dennis got taller, he's wearing elevator shoes, or something like that, or you were sitting down. I don't know which one of those things was happening, because he looked like he was about 6'9" yesterday if you were standing up.
Yeah, I want to see that picture.
Okay. But the point is that you said big announcement coming, and that was the last thing you ever did.
What?
Did you make a big announcement last night?
No.
But you promised a big announcement.
I did promise a big announcement, and let me see if I can get this picture on Facebook Live at some point. It's just look around on Facebook. There's a picture of a very tall-looking Dennis Rodriguez. He was. If you remember Kento's, there are steps that lead to the booth. I was standing on the lower step. He was standing on the booth platform itself. That's why I look so tall.
Oh, Kento's. Kento's.
Yes, I was at Kento's.
I thought it was Kenjo's.
No, not Kenjo's.
I was in the wrong place.
So here's the gist of this is Dennis Rodriguez will come to the morning show at some point at the appropriate time and make a very important announcement.
At the appropriate time.
At the appropriate time.
When would that be?
I don't know.
Dennis, when is the appropriate time?
I don't know. But that's there was a rumor floating around, and I tried to further that rumor. So Dennis and I, for a few minutes last night, spoke, and he agreed to make an important announcement on this program.
When?
At the appropriate time.
At the appropriate time.
It'll be at the appropriate time.
Okay, now, can I just hazard a guess?
Go ahead.
Would the appropriate time possibly be prior to Tuesday?
Well, of course. Wouldn't be it.
So by definition, the appropriate time is sometime between now and Tuesday.
That's what I'm shooting for.
So you know what the announcement is then?
I know what it is.
You know what it is.
I know what it pertains to. But I listen. I'm not going to let
Tell
you.
us.
No, I can't. It's still, what did I tell you when we first started? I know how to keep a secret. Ray Gibson can keep a secret, and it's not my secret to tell.
Even
Therefore,
to me. Even to me.
Not even to my closest family. Not even to.
See, I thought I was in that group. See, I guess I'm sorry. I'm sorry I brought the whole conversation up now.
The circle right now is two people, Dennis and Ray. That's it. And it's I'm sorry. Like I said, it's a political season. There's so much at stake. I don't want to.
Wait a second. Dennis's wife doesn't even know?
I don't know if he's told her. I'm pretty sure she can keep his secrets too. But between Dennis and I, he will be in to make an important announcement
at the appropriate
time.
So stay tuned.
That's all I can say about that. It's 7:37 in the morning. Is it time?
I'm going to slink out now. Very, very disillusioned, disappointment that I'm not as close to Ray Gibson as I thought I was.
My phone's going to start ringing again. Kevin Kerrigan now from the Guam Daily Post with this morning's headlines. Okay, you have to play the music now. Or were we supposed to do more commercials? I was? Okay, well, let's do the commercials and then we'll come back with the news.
For more than 40 years, we've earned your trust, caring for our island's health, quality care and access to health solutions you deserve. Take care, our island, your health plan. Take care, health solutions that you deserve. Take care, peace of mind to coming for you. Take care, take care, take care.
Mike St. Nicholas doesn't believe we are confident enough to govern ourselves.
We don't want people who are not confident in their own self-governance to be voting on self-government.
Yet, we pursued more self-government because we are confident we can govern ourselves. The only person who does not trust the people of Guam is Mike St. Nicholas. If he doesn't trust us, we can't trust him. Let's vote for Doris Flores Brooks, a trusted, experienced representative who believes and trusts the people of Guam.
I'm Doris Flores Brooks, and I approve this message.
Paid for by DC Doris for Congress Committee, the King and Ashes Board Treasurer.
Now, from the Guam Daily Post, Managing Editor Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. In the headlines from the Daily Post this morning, former UOG professor of psychology Michael Ellert has appealed to the Guam Supreme Court seeking reinstatement to his former position at the university. Ellert was convicted of criminal sexual conduct involving certain UOG students. He was sentenced in 2017. He's filed a petition requesting reinstatement and seeking back pay. But the University of Guam is standing by its decision not to rehire Ellert. Legal counsel attorney Randy Thompson telling the High Court yesterday that Ellert's termination was supported by Guam law, which prohibits the employment of persons convicted of criminal sexual conduct. Ellert's attorney Dan Summerfleck, however, is asking for due process. He said Ellert did not get any notice of adverse action and wasn't given the opportunity to answer. We didn't get a fair hearing, he said. A decision will be issued by the Guam Supreme Court at a later time. A survey by the CNMI's Hotel Association shows that 16 hotels are now up and running following Super Typhoon Yutu last week. Of these hotels, 75% of the rooms are available for occupancy. The others are still in need of some repair. In addition, the Marianas Visitors Authority reports that 80% of Saipan businesses are now open. 7% say they'll reopen within another week. CNMI Governor Ralph Torres yesterday said he hopes that regular commercial air flights at the Saipan International Airport can resume by November 15th. For the third year in a row, the Guam International Airport Authority has earned full compliance certification from the Federal Aviation Administration following a safety and security inspection. That inspection showed 0 discrepancies and 100% compliance with federal regulations. The inspection included a review of runway and taxi pavement markings and airfield lighting, an extensive review of firefighting training and self-inspections, as well as aircraft fueling operations was also conducted. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
It's 7:41. That's iConnect time. Give them a call at 888-8888 and find out why they are the practical choice. And they'll tell you about great rates they've got on mobile and push-to-talk and internet plans at iConnect.
Josh and I have proposed a comprehensive plan to kickstart our economy, create jobs with rising wages, fight the root causes of crime, fund our schools, and make our classrooms safer places to learn. I know the value of life, and when a mother has to go through that very personal decision, it should be done in privacy, not the government, Ray. Stay out of it.
He knows a lot about conflict of interest, since he's the one that sent the bill down to the legislature to give himself a pay raise. And I promise you this, I will be a hard-working lieutenant governor, working every day to meet the challenges of Guam and to lift Lou's vision for Guam that is fair, safe, and prosperous.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Rita Tidegui of Manila, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Ingatan ang iyong tahanan. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
I'm Ken Leon Guerrero, spokesperson for Guam Citizens for Public Accountability, reminding you that your vote counts. Help make Guam's future better than Guam's recent past by voting for the write-in candidate Frank Uggan and Alicia Limpiaco. And vote for the rest of the candidates recommended for a better Guam. You can find the list in the full-page ad in this Sunday's Guam Daily Post. For more information, visit Guam Citizens website at www.guamc4pa.org.
Dun, 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 dun. There we go. Time to take another look at traffic at 7:43 in the morning. Don't see a whole lot happening up in the north end of the island. Looks like we've got a little bit of traffic building from the Chicken Joy intersection. That's now what I'm referring to, the intersection of 1 and 16. From Chicken Joy, because that's where they're going to be putting the Jollibee. That all the way up to the intersection of 1 and 3. GRMC intersection. Again, traffic beginning to build up a little bit there. Also seeing traffic build up northbound, oddly, in Upper Tumont from around St. John's to the intersection of Marine Corps Drive and Route 20. That's, is it 20? It's 14. That's Santos Hill. That's the one that takes you all the way down to Weston. Don't see too much other traffic on the roadways this morning. Whatever was in front of Navy Hospital has cleared up, and there's nothing in front of Big Navy down in Sumai. So enjoy the ride. 7:44. That's right now traffic on The Point.
After 34 years as your public servant, my commitment to serve our people has never wavered. I've never cared about making money. My greatest compensation is when I can help a disabled veteran, a cancer patient, or a struggling family to get the assistance they rightfully need and deserve. Public service has always been my calling. I'm Tina Munya Barnes, and I humbly ask for your vote. Situa Smasi. I'm Tina Munya Barnes, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Tina Munya Barnes, Vince Mafna's treasurer.
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
Hi, folks. I don't have a lot of money to pay for fancy commercials or catchy jingles, but if you write me in as your governor, I will be the best governor you've ever had. And with Alicia Limpiaco by my side, we will put you and your families first. Thank you, Sizus Masi, and maraming salamat po.
I'm Frank Blasogan Jr., and I approve this message.
Afade, my name is Steve Guerrero, and I'm running for senator. A community once again is being asked to bail the government out of its financial mess through tax increases. Our small island government is now spending $1 billion annually. Where's our tax dollars going? What's needed is fiscal responsibility. I say we can run this government without increasing taxes. In fact, I propose to roll taxes back. With your vote, I will bring my 30 years of experience in government finance to address the poor fiscal problems plaguing government today. Please vote for me, Steve Guerrero. It's time for action.
Paid for by Friends for Steve Guerrero.
Okay, that was the last one. That means I may begin talking again. Wonderful. Welcome to the program, The Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point FM. Great to have you along. Lots of other opportunities that you might have for information and gathering and entertainment and political gossip and smart aleck comments, but you've got me. You're listening to me now, and I want to say thank you very much. Let me just put this up on the screen. This is the picture that everybody is talking about on Facebook. Well, not everybody is talking about, but everybody's talking to me about. Dennis Rodriguez and I at a fundraiser that they had last night over at Kento's, talking about many things and extending to Dennis the opportunity to come to this radio show at such time as he thinks is appropriate to make an important announcement. And so we set that up. That's going to happen. I don't know when it's going to happen. Kind of the ball is in his court, as it seems to have been recently. 7:47 in the morning. 888-8255 is a telephone number, and it's almost always anymore these days an appropriate greeting for Simon to say, "Welcome back, Simon Sanchez."
Thank you, Ray. Good to be home. Always good to be home. You know, there's no place like home. I went to my 40th Stanford reunion, so showing everybody how old I am.
Wow.
And saw my grandkids that are going to school up there. But, you know, when you land on Guam, well, for now that, it's great that United has got all the contracts worked out so that you now have our old Continental airline, everyone you knew from them that was on that Hawaii leg from Hano to Guam.
Yeah.
As soon as you walk in there, you realize you're almost home, because everybody there is from the local base. It took them years from that merger to merge the contracts, but now the senior flight attendants from Guam are flying that route, and it's just like coming home. But yeah, it's good.
Isn't that nice? You get that feeling. Like, it doesn't matter where you're going to sit on the airplane, they'll still come back to you with some cookies from the front or a newspaper or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to walk on the plane. It's nice to walk on a plane when they know your name. It doesn't matter anymore which airport, but I'm glad to hear that coming out of Honolulu now, you get that half-a-day experience just as, before the planes even left the tarmac.
Yeah, no, it's good. And then, of course, today I just came from Mass and thought of your dad, thought of my mom and dad and all of our family. And, you know, this is a very special day for all us Catholics on Guam. And we'll be visiting Our Lady of Peace later. And I'm sure it'll be a beautiful day for all. And you know, they live on through us. So let's take time to remember them, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be the way we are. We wouldn't even be here. So I always, it's always a bittersweet, but one of my favorite holidays and special days is All Souls Day, where we think about those that helped us be who we are.
Well, I like to refer to. I think it's like a reunion day. The families get together. We all go in the same direction and say the same prayers and share memories. So that's, you know, one of the things that was crossing my mind as I'm talking to Jerry Roberts is, when we were playing tag on great restaurants that we used to go to that don't exist anymore. I mean, how many memories of sitting down to eat either lunch or dinner or family gatherings with say your dad.
Chuck's.
Chuck's.
M Steakhouse and M Steakhouse.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I remember also I'd go there with my dad and family, and Mr. Pete Atta, Sonny's dad, he loved M Steakhouse, and he'd sneak out. He'd get a pass to have his little filet mignon and his scotch on a Friday night, and you know, a lot of great memories, a lot of great people that have made Guam good, and now it's up to us to keep on keeping on, and you going through the election season. It's heating up. It's heating up in the U.S. It's heating up here on Guam.
Oh boy, that's for sure. So for my old man and I, we ate at a lot of different places, but I got to say one of my favorite our favorite lunchtime getaways was Ivory where Hamilton Arms was in the sort of building that thing back up, and I don't run out of money or something. They haven't done it, but we'd go in there at least once a week. Chicken cordon bleu, and they'd make these bacon wrapped shrimp. But there was a special way that they made them, special spices they put on them, and that was a great place for Pop and I to just get together and be father and son, be a unit, figure out whose cage we were going to shake next.
Yep. Well, I'm at King's after services, so that's a familiar time. But
there you go.
You called me, and I'm sure.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to find out, obviously, and spent a little bit of time with Tracy the other day about our men from the Guam Power Authority once again going up. I mean, just the crazy images that you had sent me of them loading up an Antonov airplane with cherry pickers and ladder trucks and trucks from all over the place with GPS stickers on the side of them. And I am also told from people that were on the ground in Saipan, there were people that have told me they got chills when they saw the GPA trucks because it was like the cavalry is here.
Yep. And I was having dinner with Vic and Goko Matson the other night, and FEMA's asked Matson how to get 1,000 poles from Puerto Rico over to the CNMI, and of course they have to get it to the West Coast. Matson doesn't go out there, but FEMA's pulling its numbers. Everyone is pulling its numbers. I mean, the tragedy and the heartbreak that we see from a week ago, is we restore our faith in each other despite sometimes of our disagreements. When you see everyone lending a hand, and when I flew out of San Francisco and when I flew out of Hano yesterday, you still American Red Cross, these nonprofits sending people to help. I mean, everyone is trying to help our brothers and sisters in the CNMI, and Guam's is doing its share. Carlotta and Azuda and the Israel family stepping up, and all the businesses that are, and individuals. I saw the boot drive raise some ungodly number, and that's great. And that's people helping people, and lending a hand. And there are brothers and sisters up there, and many of us have connections up there, blood, business, friendships, and they need our help, and as always, the people of Guam, that's what we're good at. We may have our disagreements in other areas, but when it's time to help, all hands on deck. And I was very proud when I got that video from GPA, and just it brought tears to my eyes. Say, here we go, let's help them out. So we shipped, I think, 300 poles. I think they lost 1,000 poles, and they're still counting Tinian. And FEMA's trying to bring in poles, but you saw the large aircraft. In Pongsona, that's what happened with us. We didn't have any bucket trucks. We were down to so few, and we had to fly in bucket trucks. This time we have plenty of bucket trucks, and now we can lend them to the CNMI. We just needed that big aircraft to load it. I think we had a group on the ground, and Tracy probably briefed you on all this. We had a group on the ground on Saturday after Thursday. Just
doing assessments, yeah.
Right, and then the boys and the girls and the team were mobilizing, and now they're there putting up poles. We're hearing about progress from certain sectors of the power system are back up, because some of these poles you just want to lean them back up, get the wires back on until you can get a permanent replacement, but just to get some energy flowing. And, it's a drill we're all too familiar with here in Guam, and now we're seeing our families and friends and the CNMI go through it. But,
well, there's the other utility, GPA, GWA, and so have there been assessments on the water systems and the needs of the water systems, and is there anything that the guys from GWA might be able to press their shoulders into?
I haven't had a chance to talk to Miguel. I haven't seen anything in the email. I know power was the first priority, and that'll get your wells back up. And they've got groups up there. They've got some challenges with their aquifer, even if they get the power back up to the wells, the salinity issues. But, water's water. You get it up there. I see they're doing some desal, but I'm not aware that GWA has got a group. That doesn't mean they haven't. I just haven't seen it in the email chat. And power was the first priority. And the established protocols. We have agreements with Palau, the CNMI, Juke. I mean, over the years, GPA, Ken Flores, John Beneventi, because this happens too often, we have a pretty good protocol set, but usually not with water. Not as, that if you get power, you usually get water, and that's where their first priority is. But I can check this morning.
Yeah, I'm just kind of curious, and I'm sure that there are people at GWA that would be more than willing to lend a hand and fly up and help. If for no other reason, just to be part of that brigade. One of the other things that I noted in my conversation with Tracy was the fact that we are sending people up there now that have got lots of experience helping Saipan get back on their feet.
Yep. The system is small. We know it. They know us. And they basically need bucket trucks and professional people that can get those poles back up, get the issues of transformers. What other materials do they have? They won't be able to get the whole system up with what we have immediately on hand, but it's a start. And then FEMA will bring in some other stuff. I'm sure they're working with CUC, and CUC, most importantly, is working hard with FEMA, because that's where they're, no one keeps 1,000 transformers just lying around per se. They're going to have to find it and get it and ship it. But we sent some up. We're sending poles up. We're sending people up. We'll get it up as much as we can. And stay as long as we can to help them until they say, they can do it on their own. But for now, everyone's got to help.
give you an idea of why this is an important priority, is there are now 2 deaths attributed to the storm. One of them is a recovery death. A woman fell asleep with a generator running, I guess, either in the house or in close proximity to the house, and died of the smoke insulation, CO2 poisoning. So it's important that we get people into a kind of power system that is safe and reliable.
But Phil is, and Bank Pacific is up there, and Lou's with First Hawaiian. So when you talk to the banks, they're talking about how to help people with loan payments. But the other side of the equation, they're not earning income. People that normally would have a job, even bank employees can't come to work because they don't have a house. So you got this issue of, even while you're helping on the one side of the equation, no tourists are coming. No, you're not going to work. The schools are closed. And if you're a teacher, how are you getting a check? I mean, all those things that you take for granted when the world's going smooth, that are part of the recovery. How does that keep going? Businesses don't pay taxes when they're not open, so their monthly GRT, all those things, and then a check every 2 weeks. Are you going to get it, whether you're in the private or the public sector up there? Because you need it to rebuild. But how do you rebuild? And their economy has struggled for many, many years, even though they now just have gaming. There's a period when the garment industries left where it was really difficult.
Oh, I remember that. That town turned black overnight. A note that I wanted to pass along, and now's a good time to do it. Security Title in Saipan is announcing that people there can go to Security Title and get help filling out the FEMA claim forms, because they're going to be asking for lot numbers and things like that. And if your house blew away, you're never going to find that paper with your lot marker on it. So you just give them the address. The CNMI folks at Security Title will be able to look it up, and that will be the first step in getting the relief from FEMA when it comes by. So pass that along to friends of yours that are up in Saipan. And to note that there is going to be a container at the parking lot of Security Title here on Guam. They're working with the Chinese Chamber of Commerce on that.
Yep. A lot of people helping out, which is the goodness of our people.
Hey, who's going to win before I let you go, Si? I got the news coming up. So before I let you go, who's going to win the election on Tuesday?
The people of Guam.
Okay, no, really, who's going to win the election on Tuesday?
The people of Guam. They'll make their choices. I hope we have a great turnout. I'm glad to see the highest registration.
Yeah.
I think turnout has been no less than 70% in the gubernatorial, so that's like 39,000 votes. So there's about 15,000 people. We have no idea how they're going to vote because they didn't vote in the primary. They're going to show up Tuesday, and they're going to make the difference. And we've learned 200 votes, 100 votes. It all makes a difference. So please, remember your loved ones today.
Oh, that's right. You're running. You're running in the race for the Consolidated Commission on Utilities. I forgot to ask about that. Okay, so it's number one of 4 names that are out there. So I wish you very good luck on that one. You get your share of 50,000 votes.
Well, and thanks for all you do for the community, and have a good All Souls Day, everyone. Remember your loved ones. Have a great weekend. And then next Tuesday, make sure you make time to vote. It's so important that you vote, no matter who you're going to vote for. Even if you're not voting for me, make sure you vote.
Gotcha. Si, I'll talk to you pretty soon. Again, welcome home. And happy 40th reunion. Amazing. Imagine that. There's some guys running around 40th reunion going, I didn't think I was going to live this long. Frankly. Would you look at the time? 8 o'clock in the morning already. The radio station is KUSG Hagutnia. My name is Ray Gibson, and coming up, I've got Fox News Live on the other side of that. We'll find out what's happening around here with Kevin Kerrigan from the Guam Daily Post and Real Joe Cruz. You need to put yourself in a position where you can have a conversation that sounds like sports. I'm not saying we have to talk about sports. I'm just saying we're going to pretend to on the other side of these.
News. President Trump vows to take action as a caravan of migrants making its way to the U.S. southern border. Fox's Jared Halpern live in Washington.
Now, President Trump says he intends to tighten rules for asylum seekers as part of his response to migrant caravans.
This endemic abuse of the asylum system makes a mockery of our immigration system.
As part of an executive order the president says he will issue next week, asylum seekers would be allowed to only make those asylum claims at a port of entry. Current law allows migrants to seek asylum no matter where they cross the border. The president also says U.S. military members now deployed to the border region would treat rock throwers as if those rocks were rifles. Lisa.
Jared, a Mexican federal official telling the AP 153 migrants were detained yesterday during highway inspections in the southernmost state of Chiapas. They're part of a smaller second caravan. Another court appearance for the suspect in Saturday's shooting massacre at a Pittsburgh synagogue. 56-year-old Robert Bowers pleading not guilty to federal charges that could put him on death row as more victims are laid to rest today. Fox's Gernal Scott has this live.
Lisa, a remembrance held today for a husband and wife, Sylvan and Bernice Simon, who were memorialized by their son as a beacon of light that can help eliminate hate. A cousin of theirs, Joe Charnick, says they are linked in death as they were in life.
After they met, they never were apart. Everything they did they were together. And I know even now they still work together.
The other funeral today for Dr. Richard Gottfried, a dentist who also treated immigrants and refugees. 10 of the 11 victims have now been eulogized. One service remains tomorrow for the eldest victim, 97-year-old Rose Mallinger. Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. Wall Street, the Dow up 264. This is Fox News.
As I look around, there are so many longtime Democrats, but it doesn't serve the good of our island or our Democratic Party when we don't embrace the will of our party. And that will was choosing Lou and Josh.
The people that have been forgotten, we will bring people helping people back. I'm banking on Lou and Josh.
I want to invite those Democrats, those Republicans that are sitting maybe on the sidelines. Well, I want to tell them that they have a home here with us.
Family is about more than who you are related to. It includes everyone. This election is coming down to one value and one value only: trust. Who will you trust to protect the people of Guam?
And I approve this ad.
Sexual misconduct claim against Harvey Weinstein, this time from a woman who claims it happened when she was a teen.
A woman claims she was a 16-year-old virgin when Harvey Weinstein sexually assaulted her in New York. Page 6 reporting the aspiring actress and former model from Poland said that after agreeing to meet for a business lunch with Weinstein in 2002, he took her to his Soho apartment and, quote, Weinstein wasted no time in aggressively and threateningly demanding sex, telling her that if she wanted to be an actress, she had to give in to his desires. Weinstein threatened, saying that he had made the careers of Penelope Cruz and Gwyneth Paltrow and that neither would be working without him. Weinstein's criminal lawyer says the claim is preposterous. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
Hundreds of Google employees in New York walked off the job today as part of a worldwide protest employees are staging over the company's handling of sexual misconduct claims. A new meeting between North and South Korea comes with new rules between the two nations.
In effect today, along the tense DMZ between North and South Korea, a no-fly zone and a ban on live fire drills. This a result of a recent summit between Kim Jong-un and South Korean President Moon. As diplomacy aimed at ridding the North of nukes is stepping up. Secretary of State Pompeo is set to meet with the North Korean counterpart next week, possibly in New York. And a second summit is being planned involving Kim and President Trump, possibly for early next year. In London, Craig Palcott, Fox News.
Johnny Depp has relisted his Kentucky horse farm. The price of the property, named Betty Sue's Family Farm in honor of Depp's late mother, has been lowered to $1.6 million. That's well below the $2.9 million asking price when it was up for auction last August. Depp is from Owensboro, Kentucky, and first bought the property in 1995. I'm Lisa Lacera, and this is Fox News.
As a proud father, husband, taxpayer, citizen soldier, and son of Guam, I want to fight for our working class families who pay their taxes on time, send their kids to school, and abide by our laws while taxes rise and services suffer. For 13 years, I served you as a public school educator. For almost 13 years, I served you as a citizen soldier in the Guam National Guard. And now, as number 13 on the Democratic ballot, I want to serve you as your senator. Please vote Jack Hattick III for senator on November 6th.
So vote for Jack.
I'm Jack Hattick III, and I approve this message.
What are the benefits of switching to the handset payment option with GTA? For starters, you can customize a plan that matches your budget and lowers your monthly payment. HPO lets you upgrade to the latest phones whenever you want. No more waiting for a contract to end to get that slimmer, faster smartphone. Because with HPO, there are no contracts. HPO lets you design a phone plan that suits you. So join the thousands who've already switched to HPO, the most customizable phone plan on island. Limited time offer. Terms and conditions apply.
After 34 years as your public servant, my commitment to serve our people has never wavered. I've never cared about making money. My greatest compensation is when I can help a disabled veteran, a cancer patient, or a struggling family to get the assistance they rightfully need and deserve. Public service has always been my calling. I'm Tina Muñoz Barnes, and I humbly ask for your vote. See to a small seat. I'm Tina Muñoz Barnes, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Tina Muñoz Barnes, Vince Mofness, Treasurer.
If you can dream uncommon design and unprecedented engineering, you define the 2018 Lexus. The boldly designed IS Sport Sedan's aggressive design stimulates the senses.
Advanced paddle shifting puts the exhilarating performance of the IS Sport Sedan at your fingertips. With deep, luxurious seating, the ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive.
Put yourself in a 2018 Lexus.
Now with special incentives.
At Atkins Kroll.
As the island's executive director for the Commission on Decolonization, I've had the opportunity to work alongside local, regional, and international leaders to shape the discussion regarding Guam's political future. As a longtime youth leader, I've had the opportunity to work with future generations to build a better today and tomorrow for themselves through mentorship. Allow me the opportunity to work for you in the 35th Guam Legislature. I humbly ask for your vote this election. My name is Amanda Blah, and I approve this message.
Paid for the committee to elect Amanda Fritzel Blas for Senator.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. News time here at The Point is 7 minutes past 8 a.m. this Friday morning. I'm Kevin Kerrigan. Here's a look now at some of the top stories from the Guam Daily Post. The Rotary Club of Guam yesterday hosting the final forum between the Republican and Democratic Party candidates for governor. It was a mild exchange between Republican Ray Tenorio and Democrat Lou Leon Guerrero compared to their heated clash 2 days earlier at the UOG Fieldhouse. The write-in team of Senator Frank Uggan Jr. and Alicia Limtiaco asked to take part, but their request was denied. They stood at the door to greet the Rotarians, but left before the forum got underway and later responded to the same questions in an email. Among the questions asked was, what would you do in your first 100 days in office if elected governor? Tenorio said, it's important that we have a dedicated funding source for the Guam Memorial Hospital. That's the first and foremost, he said. Leon Guerrero said she'd go to Rev and Tax and make sure that the collectors there have the tools and resources they need to collect unpaid taxes. And Uggan said his first priority would be to establish a financial team to determine the status of all cash available within GovGuam accounts and establish a government restructuring and consolidation team. The attorney for former police officer Mark Torre Jr. appealed to the Guam Supreme Court yesterday to reverse Torre's negligent homicide conviction in the shooting death of fellow police officer Elbert Piolo. Piolo died after being shot once below his right armpit with Torre's gun in the early morning hours of July 13, 2015. Attorney Anita Areola argued the Superior Court erred. She said Torre was taken into custody immediately after the shooting and was not given his Miranda rights when statements he made were recorded by another officer on a body cam. Therefore, she said those statements should not have been shown to the jury. They were involuntary and inadmissible and should have been suppressed. However, Assistant Attorney General Marianne Wolochuk countered that Torre was not in custody at the time the recording was made. She said Torre was very drunk when he was put on the tailgate outside the home where Piolo was shot, and it was only natural that police would try to steady him. But he had not yet been arrested. Therefore, the remarks he made that were recorded on the body cam were admissible as evidence. The justices took the arguments under advisement, and they'll issue a decision at a later time. We'll have more news after this.
At Guam Regional Medical City, it is our mission to become the island's premier choice for specialty care, like cardiology, pulmonology, neurosciences, orthopedics, oncology services, and more. We aim to protect our island from heart attacks, strokes, cancer, and diabetic complications. But should you suffer from such diseases, we're ready with world-class options, both inpatient and outpatient. For more information, visit us at grmc.gu.
After 34 years as your public servant, my commitment to serve our people has never wavered. I've never cared about making money. My greatest compensation is when I can help a disabled veteran, a cancer patient, or a struggling family to get the assistance they rightfully need and deserve. Public service has always been my calling. I'm Tina Munya Barnes, and I humbly ask for your vote. I'm Tina Munya Barnes, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Tina Munya Barnes, Vince Mofness, Treasurer.
News time here at The Point is 11 minutes past 8 a.m. All maternal and child health care patients at Guam Regional Medical City were transferred to Guam Memorial Hospital Wednesday. GRMC's maternity and pediatric units have been closed and are no longer accepting new patients. Earlier this month, GRMC announced the closings, saying its specialty services would be expanded, and they were closed in order to reduce redundancies of health care here on island. GRMC is now advising all women and children aged 17 or younger to seek care at Guam Memorial Hospital. However, should any woman or child in need of emergency care go to GRMC's emergency department, they will not be turned away. The hospital will see those patients, stabilize them, and transfer those in need of inpatient care to GMH. A release from GRMC yesterday said that GRMC and GMH are confident the new focus of services at each hospital will have a positive impact on Guam's health care. GRMC will be expanding its adult specialty care services and taking advantage of its previously underutilized second floor. A survey by the CNMI's Hotel Association shows that 16 hotels are now up and running after Super Typhoon U2. Of those hotels, 75% of the rooms are available for occupancy. The others are still in need of some repair. In addition, the Marianas Visitors Authority reports that 80% of Saipan businesses are now back open. 7% report that they will open within another week. CNMI Governor Ralph Torres has set November 15th as the target date to have essential systems operational so that commercial flights can resume at the Saipan International Airport. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post. Ray now with a look at weather.
I feel bad because we don't have Mike here to do the weather. And there's just, there's something magical about the way he does it. He's so educated in the ways of weather. So I've taken the time in the last few minutes to brush up on my meteorological skills and would like to deliver a weather forecast just like Mike would if he was here. The polar vortex is pushing a Kelvin wave inflows, causing a surge in the tropopause fold. So you can expect the dryline shear to cause increases in the isotherm readings on your hodograph.
Say what?
I'll translate that for you. Isolated showers today, mostly sunny skies, 89 degrees in the high end with a heat index of 93 degrees and 77 degrees on the overnight. Winds right now from the east, 10 to 14 miles an hour. Ought to be slowing down a little bit around sunset, 9 to 13 miles an hour. Not to say that the sunset's going to be at 9:13. What's it like being in the States in the summertime? It's late. 9 to 13 miles an hour is what it should be going down to. Sun's been going down a lot earlier, about 5:54, 5:53 for sunset tonight, and we'll see the sunrise come up about the same time tomorrow morning, 6:10 or so. It's 8:14, so check your isotherm readings on the hodograph just to be certain. That's news and weather together here on The Point.
At the heart of everything we do is our mission to improve the life of every child. From mungy nennies to growing teens, they'll be in trusted hands at FHP Health Center, where we offer comprehensive pediatric services to nurture and protect your child's health from day one. Begin your little one's journey to good health at FHP with seasoned pediatricians and professional staff who hold decades of combined experience. FHP Health Center, our island, your clinic.
Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by King's Restaurant, where you can go on a Friday and enjoy beef tenactac. It's the yum stuff. Yeah. You ever get that craving where you go, I gotta have tonight, I gotta have it. Now, they'll make it for you anytime you want it, but it's the big special for lunchtime at King's.
We're surrounded by sound. There are sounds that you need to hear. There are sounds that you want to hear. And there are sounds that you long to hear. Hear it all, louder and clearer than ever before. If you or someone you know has a hard time hearing, Guam Hearing Doctors can help using state-of-the-art test gear to evaluate your hearing and coming up with a plan to make your life better by making your hearing better. Call Guam Hearing Doctors for an appointment or visit them on the web at guamhearingdoctors.com.
Wait, there's more I'm supposed to tell you about. Go eat today at King's, and then a bunch of other people are also in charge of bringing you the program. American President Lines, they're shipping the future. American Water Tech, smarter water, better water. Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your open heart surgery needs. And my friends over at Micronesia Renewable Energy, where there's never been a better time to go solar. Other sponsors of the program include, I mentioned them a little bit earlier, the folks over at Security Title. And if you've got friends and family in the Saipan and the CNMI, and they need to apply for FEMA assistance, they might not have their home's lot number in order to do that, and that's going to be one of the items that is going to be asked for. Normally, you know, there's a drawer in the house with all of that important information, but all of the drawers and all the information have blown away. So if they need that lot information, have them go to the Security Title office in Saipan. And it will literally take them seconds to be able to pull up the information. And that is should take care of the hardest part of filling out those FEMA forms. And there's no charge for it. It's just their way of saying, God bless you, we're thinking about you, and we're behind your efforts up in Saipan and CNMI to rebuild. Also brought to you by AK Lexus, where they've got a brand new 2019 ES350. And I had the pleasure of being near this car not that long ago and thought, you know what? This is a sexy ride. And they said, Gib, how about a test drive? I said, if you give me a test drive, I'm gonna talk to the finance guy after this. And to avoid that veil of tears, I decided, no, that's all right. I'll leave the test driving to people like you that are listening to the broadcast. So swing by AK Lexus and give it a shot. The new ES350 at AK Lexus.
Subway Restaurants is celebrating World Sandwich Day this Saturday, November 3rd, with a delicious deal. Buy one, get one free. That's right. Buy any sub and a 30-ounce drink, and we'll give you another sub free. Create your favorite sub any way you want it, toasted or not, with cheese or without. Add a pile of fresh veggies, your favorite sauce, and share a free sub with a friend or family member. Visit any of Subway's 14 locations and celebrate World Sandwich Day with the Buy One, Get One Free all-day event. Saturday, November 3rd. Subway. Make it what you want.
The Ray Gibson Show. Any speaker, anytime. Watch and listen live on thepoint.gu.
Is it time? It is 8:18. 8:18 already in the morning. 8:18. So I appreciate you allowing me to gag on the weather buzzwords. There's actually a place where you can go on the World Wide Web. This is where I found it, guys. Is weather buzzword bingo. And the same way that I said we need to put together the great debate bingo, where we use phrases like pro-life, pro-choice, bankruptcy, Department of accreditation, all of those kinds of words in a little bingo thing, right? So that when one of the participants uttered those words, you could fill in a spot. There's apparently a weather buzzword bingo that you can get that has words like Kelvin wave, moist adiabat. I don't know what that is. We'll find the guys and ask them. A troll, which is the shorthand for trough of warm air aloft, or the LCL, which is lifted condensation levels. And you can see how you could get your brain all turned around and come up with phrases like the polar vortex is pushing a Kelvin wave inflows, which is causing a surge in the tropopause field. There's buzzwords in every field, is there not? I mean, in journalism, we've got our own buzzwords. In sports, I'm sure there are phrases.
Yeah, like the process and what other, all three phases lately.
Hat trick.
Creating space. Good players create space.
Do they?
Mm-hmm. No matter the sport. Like LeBron James, you know what he does really well under the basket? He creates space.
Is that it?
Yeah. Do you know what?
He shoves
He just-
aside.
Yeah, you know what Jerry Rice used to do when he was streaking down the field, Ray?
Yeah.
He's really good at creating space. Yeah.
Between him and the defense.
Just
creating space.
Yeah.
Are we creating space here? Is there the possibility that I know we're wasting time?
See, that's
but are
what
we
he does,
creating
Ray. He
space?
gets out on the outside, he pushes the defense to this side, and he creates space, and that allows his quarterback to drop the football 15 yards down the field. Touchdown Bears.
8:20 in the morning. It's time for Sports with Blake. Everybody got to have their buzzwords, buzz phrases. It's a fact. Got Dr. Cabrera on the line. We'll talk with him a little bit later on this morning, and I'll see if I can get some medical buzzwords for you as well. In the meantime, big football going to be happening this weekend, so we'll start with that, and you'll have to do your pick'ems by yourself.
All by myself.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, are you guys talking with Joe about it, with Real Joe Cruz?
No, I really don't follow the football lately. I haven't been. I've been too busy with tall tales.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear it. I had a new baby once and 3 jobs, and I still kept up with all the NFL that I need to. Anyway, we can move.
Okay, so
I'm just kidding. I didn't expect Joe to keep up with the football. I know Joe doesn't watch football.
Okay.
I'm just giving him a hard time.
We've got to get through it first. Ladies and gentlemen, the most boring part of the program is for the week is when we go through the pick'ems, and we'll try to get to it as quickly and in as a sexy manner as possible. Are you ready?
Yeah. Go. We've already glossed over today the opening week football game. It's going to be between the two worst, Oakland versus San Francisco. It doesn't really matter. Pick who you want, I guess, who you like.
Brad called it the toilet bowl.
Yeah, it is the toilet bowl. The only people that care about this are people in Oakland and people in the Bay. So, pick whoever you think is the worst. Chicago will take on Buffalo. I think Chicago Bears are pretty decent. Buffalo's not any good. Interesting game. Probably one of the best of the week as far as quarterbacks go. You got Kansas City taking on Cleveland. Those two quarterbacks, Pat Mahomes from Kansas City and Baker Mayfield from Cleveland, they were big Texas quarterbacks, like in college. And so they had some big shootouts there. So it could be, last time they played, Ray, it was like, I want to say each player threw for 500 yards. It was something like 66 to like 63 was the game when they played last time in college, OU versus Texas Tech. So that could be an interesting shootout. Miami, I think they take care of the Jets.
Did you already bring up San Francisco?
That was the first one.
Okay, Brad's writing in this morning, and this is amazing because he's apparently nothing better to do in Texas. San Fran is starting their backup. The replacement starter has a bum wrist. This will make a bad team even worse.
And I don't think Oakland has won a game yet, so that could be, it's not going to be a very fun game to watch. Minnesota versus Detroit. Detroit just let go of their best receiver. I don't know if that's really going to affect them, and Minnesota is, they were there last year. I think they're the better team. Washington, I think they lose their winning streak. They've won like 3 or 4 in a row, which is pretty uncharacteristic of that team. They're a lot better than people thought, but I think Atlanta stops them this week. Down south in the NFC South, Carolina taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay in a terrible way. They sat their starting quarterback after 4 interceptions, and they started the Fitzmagic yet again. So if Fitzmagic comes alive, he could beat Carolina, but the safe bet, I think, is Cam Newton and the Panthers. I think Pittsburgh will beat Baltimore just because that is a rival game, and Pittsburgh seems to always get the best of Baltimore, although it is in Baltimore, so maybe that plays a part. But I stick with Steelers in this one. Denver-Houston, I don't know. Houston, I guess. The Chargers, Seahawks. Those two teams are about equally as terrible, but equally as good on any given day. So they're about middle of the pack. I go Chargers because I always pick against the Seahawks. New Orleans, Rams. Rams are my Super Bowl pick.
It's a love thing.
Rams are my Super Bowl pick, so I pick them and the Chiefs in any game that they play in. New England, Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is good. The rest of his team isn't. New England wins that one, I think. And Dallas, Tennessee. I'm hoping Tennessee beats us, so I'm picking the Titans. And there you go.
That's it?
That's it.
That's all of them.
That's all of them.
Okay. I'm waiting for, I sent myself a link that a buddy of mine passed along to me, and you are expecting another, right? Mm-hmm. And how old is the one you've got?
2, going on about 32.
These are hard questions. I don't know, Dad. What is that?
No, she turned 2 in July. So, yeah, she's in that weird 2. Do you say 2.5? Does it matter?
You still count them in months. You just still see. I'm trying to pull up a song and to play. Did he show you how to put the Avra thing on?
It is on Abra.
Okay, it's already on the Abra. Okay. All right, so I'm trying to pull up a video, and it must be one of those popular videos. It's a little kid song video. It must be a popular video because it's actually got an ad. It's got one of those character matters, right? Ken and Frank. And I don't know who paid that. Let me just click on where it says skip ad. Thank you very much.
Pink Fong.
You
Pink
familiar?
Fong. Oh, yeah. This is Baby Shark.
Is this Baby Shark?
Oh, I mean, this is who makes Baby Shark.
Yeah,
I don't know
okay,
if this
so
is
this is
specific.
Baby Shark song.
Okay. Yeah, I'm well aware of this.
This is how you know there's nothing else left to talk about.
Yeah, we got to do the moves, too. You know the moves, Joe? Like this.
Baby shark. Mommy shark.
All the sharks are different.
They're getting bigger.
They get bigger. And then Grandpa Shark has no teeth. Wait till you see Grandpa. Like this. Let's watch Grandma Shark. My daughter kind of looks like that girl right there, too.
That's crazy.
Grandpa shark. Grandpa shark. Grandpa shark.
Let's go.
This is number one. Fortunately for you, the listeners,
They're about to run away. See?
It's only a couple of minutes long. It already feels like this has been playing for 20.
I think this song was actually on the Asia Pop 40. I'm not joking. I heard Dom Lau play this on in the top 5 of the Asia Pop 40. Maybe when it first came out, so in July, maybe June, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I got all these people. I'm sure you got kids and grandkids, but it don't make any difference.
Everybody knows Baby Shark.
Yeah, but the people are saying, please make it stop already.
See, to me,
Andrea Warren.
I'm so used to the Baby Shark song that it doesn't even. It's just background. I could hear it all. That and Coco and
they got another one though. There's I was looking at all the different. They've got like a monkey song with the same people. Pink Fong. All right. So those of you that want to torture your children,
I think they're Korean
with songs for their grandchildren. All right, look for Pink Fong on YouTube.
Pink Fong, subscribe. Pink Fong.
Oh, burn on you. Brad Hewitt says those picks are why Blake is in 10th place in the point pick'em.
No, the reason I'm in 10th place is because I didn't pick for a whole 2 weeks.
Yeah. Remember?
So I gave all of y'all 2 whole weeks. Yeah, I gave all. Go enjoy Texas, Brad. Off the radio. No, but yeah.
He's lurking.
Is he? No,
yeah,
he sent me stuff in the middle of the night in Facebook. He sent me some funny videos in the middle of the night. So that's what Brad's...
Are there any that we can play?
No.
No, not
I don't
that
know.
kind of.
Is there? I don't know. I didn't peruse it. No, it's yeah, it's some Street Fighters fight. It's 2 guys fighting. I don't know if I can't hear it. So,
all right, this is my problem. My problem is I've got a video from my brother that I can play on the Facebook system, but I'm not going to because people will hate me.
Why?
Because it's one of those videos, right, where it looks like somebody's just doing like a YouTube conversation, and then there's screaming. Then it's you remember that was popular in the early days of social media. Somebody put a picture, keep your eye on the chair in the corner, and you watch the thing in the chair in the corner, and then somebody come up in the foreground.
Or the maze. You got to watch the maze. Watch the little snake go through the maze, and halfway through the face will come through.
But this one here is clever. It gets your attention because you don't think anything like that could possibly be coming. And the thing, if I put it online, people will want to fight me and everybody else in the room. I hate you. Don't ever do that again.
You know what came up on my Facebook was...
Please don't use your technology for evil, Mr. Gibson.
It scares. So on my YouTube playlist, because it's based on what you watch, I saw, so it popped up of scares, and there was a whole, I didn't watch it, but there's a whole 10-minute video of just those maze scares, just those people staring with the headphones on. Yep. And they always, shoot back from the, from the desk, with, everything's just in chaos as they're scared and they fall down. Insane.
I have those on my playlist as well. Now, 8:29 this weekend, 3 5Ks. Oddly, if I'm reading this right, one of them is going to take place right on top of the other. Heart of a Warrior 5K tomorrow, showtime 5:30 at Chamorro Village, and then Sunday at 5:30 Chamorro Village, showtime for the UOG Sherm 5K, and then there's the Smurf 2K 5K, Chamorro Village, showtime at 5, go time at 6. So it sounds like there's two races simultaneously.
Would they do that?
It's technically possible.
Yeah.
To have the
but
two
I mean,
races
would they?
go off.
I mean, like, would they would allow that?
So if I'm reading it right, if in my mind the scenario is correct, what you would have is you would have the Lou and Josh team leaving Chamorro Village heading south towards Adelup, and the Frank and Ton team would leave Chamorro Village going north towards Alupang. I'm sorry, I'm just using a political metaphor. But you could have them leave
Okay,
Chamorro
because I was
Village
just about to
and
say,
go off in different directions. They can go north and south.
No, but I mean, like, would they would allow it just because the whole point is to make money, right? For the 5Ks.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, what if you show up thinking one's there and the other one's there, and you end up giving money to the one that you know what I mean, like to the other one when the other, like it.
Okay, so you would go for one, and this is the way I would do it because I'm a suck runner, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would go and see where the guys in my age group are lining up to run.
Okay.
Right. So the faster guys in my age group.
Mm-hmm.
If they're running in the UOG Sherm race, I'll run in the Smurf race.
Oh.
And have a better shot at placing.
Right.
And getting the medal.
Okay.
And the cash prizes and stuff. So that's that's the way it works.
What about the post race? Like, do they all use the pavilion, right? So
yeah, and those are the questions I'm trying to answer. But it would be an interesting sports thing to have two races leaving at the same time from the same location.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind it. I was talking about guys like Derek Mendel and Ryan Mitienzo, who would be perfectly capable of running one, and even as they start late in the other one, still probably place.
Pretty highly.
They're that good, that fast, that young. 8:31 in the morning. That's all the time that we got for sports. We'll see what happens with the pick'ems come Monday morning. Although Monday morning we'll also be spending a lot of time talking about politics. But after Tuesday, if things go right for at least one of the candidates in the gubernatorial race, that's sports will be all we have to talk about after Tuesday.
Yeah, and it's good too because it's just now starting to pick up with second quarter.
Thank God.
Yes.
All right, 8:20 to 8:32. That's Blake Watson. I've got Kevin Kerrigan in headlines coming up next.
Mike St. Nicholas doesn't believe we are confident enough to govern ourselves.
We don't want people who are not confident in their own self-governance to be voting on self-government.
Yet, we pursued more self-government because we are confident we can govern ourselves. The only person who does not trust the people of Guam is Mike St. Nicholas. If he doesn't trust us, we can't trust him. Let's vote for Doris Flores Brooks, a trusted, experienced representative who believes and trusts the people of Guam.
I'm Doris Flores Brooks, and I approve this message.
Paid for by DC Doors for Congress Committee, the King and Ashes Board Treasurer.
Super Typhoon U2 has become one of the strongest storms on record to date. APL recognizes the damage that U2 has left behind and sees an opportunity to help our neighboring brothers and sisters in the CNMI. We humbly ask for the community's assistance in providing donations and supplies to our fellow islanders. All supplies can be dropped off to our APL office or coordinated for pickup and loading. Call 588-4651 for more details and to learn how you can help today. It's 8:33, time for headlines from the Guam Daily Post. Here's Kevin Kerrigan.
Half a day and good morning, Guam. And the headlines from the Daily Post this morning: 3 more migrants convicted of sexually assaulting children in 3 different cases now facing deportation after Governor Eddie Calvo commuted their sentences, paving the way for their transfer to the custody of federal immigration authorities. They are 38-year-old Asin Moni, who was convicted of criminal sexual conduct and sentenced to 20 years in prison. He's a native of Chuk. His victims were girls who were 8 and 9 at the time they were raped. 60-year-old Kaskian Henry, also convicted of criminal sexual conduct involving a 10-year-old girl. He was sentenced to 5 years. He is a native of Pohnpei. And Cherry Koto, also from Chuk, he was convicted of criminal sexual conduct, sentenced to 5 years. His victim was a 14-year-old girl. The men will be transferred to the custody of the federal government until they are deported. To date, the governor has commuted the sentences for either removal or deportation of 68 convicts. Former UOG professor of psychology Michael Ellert has appealed to the Guam Supreme Court seeking reinstatement to his former position at the university. Ellert was convicted of criminal sexual conduct involving certain UOG students. He was sentenced in 2017. He has filed a petition requesting reinstatement and seeking back pay, but the University of Guam is standing by its decision not to reinstate him. UOG's legal counsel telling the High Court yesterday, its attorney Randy Thompson, he told the court that Ellert's termination was supported by Guam law, which prohibits the employment of persons convicted of criminal sexual conduct. Ellert's attorney, meanwhile, Dan Summerfleck, asked for due process. He said Ellert did not get any notice of adverse action, wasn't given the opportunity to answer. We didn't get a fair hearing, he said. The decision will be issued by the High Court at a later time. And for the third year in a row, the Guam International Airport Authority has earned a full compliance certification from the Federal Aviation Administration following a safety and security inspection. The inspection showed zero discrepancies and 100% compliance with federal regulations. The inspection included a review of runway and taxiway pavement markings, airfield lighting, and an extensive review of firefighting training, self-inspections, and aircraft fueling operations. For these stories and more, log on to postguam.com or pick up a copy of today's Guam Daily Post.
I think I will. It's 8:36. We'll call that iConnect time. Swing by the nearest iConnect and ask them why they are the practical choice. Actually, when they start talking to you about the rates they have for mobile internet and push-to-talk plans, you'll go, wow, iConnect is the practical choice.
The Calvo Tenor administration built almost 3,000 affordable homes. Through our GUMA 2000 plan, Tenorio Added will ensure that 2,000 first-time home buyers will have access to 3-bedroom, typhoon-resistant houses with a mortgage of around $800 a month. Calvo Tenorio erected the Guam Museum, the most comprehensive cultural facility on island. Tenorio Added will advocate for and support more institutions that promote the Chamorro language, customs, and history. As a former member of the U.S. Army, I have a great appreciation for Guam's military veteran. We fought bravely for a nation whose president we can't vote for. This is a travesty that Ray and I will fight to fix. From the promotion of our culture to the protection of our natural resources, from providing housing to providing for the needs of our veterans, Ray and I will improve the quality of life for all Guameans.
I'm Ray Tenorio and I approve this message.
On November 6th, vote Tenorio Added.
Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors. Our signature fajitas are served with sliced bell peppers, caramelized onions, topped with chipotle garlic butter, and chopped cilantro. Build your fajita with over 16 ounces of tender grilled chicken, juicy steak, and a dozen pieces of seasoned grilled shrimp in the family fajita trio. All served with warm flour tortillas and fresh toppings like mixed cheese, guacamole, salsa, and pico de gallo. Experience bold, sizzling fajita flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here.
Day. My name is Steve Guerrero and I'm running for senator. Our community once again is being asked to bail the government out of its financial mess through tax increases. Our small island government is now spending $1 billion annually. Where's our tax dollars going? What's needed is fiscal responsibility. I say we can run this government without increasing taxes. In fact, I propose to roll taxes back. With your vote, I will bring my 30 years of experience in government finance to address the core fiscal problems plaguing government today. Please vote for me, Steve Guerrero. It's time for action.
Paid for by Friends for Steve Guerrero.
I'm Ken Leon Guerrero, spokesperson for Guam Citizens for Public Accountability, reminding you that your vote counts. Help make Guam's future better than Guam's recent past by voting for the write-in candidate Frank Uggan and Alicia Limpiaco. And vote for the rest of the candidates recommended for a better Guam. You can find the list in the full-page ad in this Sunday's Guam Daily Post. For more information, visit Guam Citizens' website at www.guamc4pa.org.
It's 8:39 in the morning, and the only traffic that I'm looking at right now that looks like it has gone slow is on Route 10. If you were trying to get from Route 10 anywhere past Route 15 intersection, expect delays through that intersection over by the Santa Teresita Church. Don't see too much else that is affecting traffic. Looks like there's a little bit of a slowdown on Santos Hill. Now, they put out an ad in the newspaper the other day that said to please expect slowing down traffic. There's now construction over behind the Tarza. Something's been cleared. It's been graded, and there's going to be, between Tarza and the hotel behind it on that road, there's probably going to be an increase in slow-moving vehicles and construction vehicles, and maybe some of that has started now. So be on the lookout for that. That's all the traffic I'm looking at right now. Right now, traffic here on The Point.
Josh and I have proposed a comprehensive plan to kickstart our economy, create jobs with rising wages, fight the root causes of crime, fund our schools, and make our classrooms safer places to learn. I know the value of life, and when a mother has to go through that very personal decision, it should be done in privacy, not the government, Ray. Stay out of it.
He knows a lot about conflict of interest, since he's the one that sent the bill down to the legislature to give himself a pay raise. And I promise you this, I will be a hard-working lieutenant governor, working every day to meet the challenges of Guam and to lift Lou's vision for Guam that is fair, safe, and prosperous.
And I approve this ad.
Wow, things happening fast. A note from Brad Rizal on Facebook. He writes, seeing the streetlights on all the way to Marpy last night was really exciting. Knowing they'll have water soon is even better. The Commonwealth Utilities Corporation is moving to get services reestablished at a lightning pace. Great collaboration with Power, Water, and the off-island assistance from FEMA and our military partners, ... I'll take a look at the rest of that in just a little bit. Looking at the time now, 19 away from the top of the hour. Dr. Ron McNinch on the line and Maria Pangilinan on the other line as well. And I know that even though Dr. McNinch has been on hold longer, I do want to go to Maria Pangilinan first. Speaking of Saipan and the relief efforts that are underway up there with literally a ton of guys from Guam, men and equipment. We've got guardsmen and men and women up there, and we've got personnel from GPA up there. And the question is, how are they going to get their vote in on Tuesday? Good morning, Maria Pangilinan.
Half a day, Ray Gibson.
Important question that people are asking me about what steps do they need to take. So I got a cousin that's a guardsman in Saipan right now. How will we ensure that he gets his vote in?
Well, first if they can get on the internet, they can get on our website and request for an absentee ballot. The application must be received by Guam Election Commission by tomorrow, November 3rd at 5 o'clock p.m. Fortunately, Guam Election Commission was able to make arrangements for 2 program coordinators to go out to Saipan tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
They will be there. They're leaving on a 7:30 flight tomorrow morning, and they will be there up until Sunday morning. So they will have with them application forms and everything else, all the printed material that is required for them to vote.
Why didn't they just take up ballots?
They will, but they will have to take not the regular ballots, because we don't know where the soldiers or the other like the Guam Power Authority folks. We may take e-ballots, or we may take regular ballots only if we know where all the soldiers and the Guam voters are, which precincts they're from.
Oh, I see.
If we don't have that information, we will bring printed out e-ballots.
Okay, I see what you're saying. So that would be the reason why we didn't just take up a small version, a portable version, if you will, of the Guam Election Commission and send it up there. So it's the closest that you could get to that.
Yes.
To being able to duplicate in-office voting.
That's correct. And then the non-military folks will need a notary public, because it's absentee, off-island absentee. So our 2 folks that are going out double as notary public.
Oh, thank goodness.
Truly notary public.
Okay, because the first time we'd heard about this, it just sounded way too cumbersome, and it looked like those votes were just going to be lost because they had to go to the website, they got to fill out the application, then they got to have stuff emailed to them and then faxed back, and it sounded like too many steps.
Yes, and so we've been in constant communication with both Army Reserve Center and the National Guard and Guam Power Authority. If there are other employers that would like us to service their employees, the Guam voters that are in Saipan, they can contact our office. We'll be in today at the office, or they can call me at my number.
All right, and get that all taken care of and squared away because they're going to be on the flight tomorrow at 7:30.
That's correct.
I got you. All right. Well, like I said, I think it's a much better plan that you've got today than the one that I heard the other day, and I'm glad everybody is pulling on the same ropes. Because they are helping out in Saipan should not cost them the opportunity to be involved in our big election here on Tuesday.
Yes. So I think with National Guard, we may already have very tentative arrangements. They all get together for lunch by the mayor's office. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that on air.
That's all right.
If that happens, that would be the ideal place for our two coordinators to get them there, and our partners, the CNMI Election Commission, they've agreed to, whatever they can do, they're going to assist us while we're there.
What an interesting place for the two different offices to intersect, and what an interesting reason for that to happen. But I'm glad that the coordination is there. Maria, I don't have too much else for you. I just wanted to say have a great weekend. I know you guys are going to be busy. I've seen the notices that you've put out for the meeting on the that you're going to have on the 6th, and I think you've already noticed the meeting on the 7th as well, right?
Yes, and the test election, Ray Gibson, the test election is this Sunday, November 4th, at the University of Guam Fieldhouse.
Ah, okay. So we're just going to run some ballots through there, and hey, you know what you can do? You can use some of the ballots from the primary election, and look, Lillian Guerrero won again. I'm Cassie like that.
Yes, sir, you are.
Right.
And so we just also want to remind folks that we are still accepting homebound applications. So if anybody knows anybody that's homebound, please call our office. All we need is contact information, name, and date of birth of the homebound person. We are also servicing the hospitals at this time.
Yep.
We've been up to GRMC and GMH several times already, and we will continue to serve over the weekend.
Okay. All right. Well, folks, go to the Guam Election Commission, the website. Very, very useful website. Maybe one of the most useful websites in the entire government of Guam, and learn everything that you need to know. It'll get to be Monday, and I'll try not to bug you on Monday. On Tuesday, we'll obviously need to spend some time talking about precincts, openings, what people can bring, what people don't bring, and all of the things that you can and can't do, what you should or should not wear when you go vote. So I'll talk to you on Tuesday morning for sure.
And Monday is the last day for homebound. I'm sorry, for in-office voting with excuse.
Gotcha. All right, friends, that's all the information that I think you need to make your way through the next couple of days as far as this election is concerned. Thanks again for your time, Maria.
You're very welcome, Ray Gibson. Thank you for having us all the time.
It's obviously this is the season. It's like Christmas. We talk about what department stores are on sale. You're one of the bigger songs that we get to play on this talk radio station.
Thank you so much, Ray Gibson.
Have a nice day. 8:48 in the morning, 888-8255. Dr. Ron McNinch on the line from the University of Guam. Good morning, Doc.
Hey, good morning, Ray. Happy day, Guam.
How you doing there?
All right. Running around.
Are you prepared to make a prediction on what's going to happen when the counts are done on Tuesday night?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I think that we have in this race the three body problem, and the three body problem is always a bit of a headache because, and I might have mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned this to you and your listeners before, but in 2006, Robert Underwood was running against Felix Camacho, and Camacho won by 800 votes. But Camacho won by 50.25%. That 25% is just 50 votes away from the 50% plus one number.
Yes.
And so a very, very small number of write-ins can affect in a two-person race. If you have a third person running as a third party, it can affect and trigger a runoff. And so that's the big thing I've been looking at for the last 2 weeks.
Does your data support a runoff?
I mean,
based on the number of registered voters out there, what the expectations might be on a decent turnout for us, and how many write-in votes would you need to take Lou or Ray off of a 50% plus one platform?
In 2006, in a two-person race,
it was 800.
No, it was 50.
I'm sorry, 50. But you said the difference between one and the other was 800 votes.
Right. The difference was 800 votes, but the difference for the 50% plus one level was just 50 votes.
All right. So all things being equal between Ray and Lou,
right?
It wouldn't take all that many write-in votes to force the runoff.
That's right. That's what I'm saying. And right now we've studied the write-in number twice, and it's between 5 to 12%. And so while it's not sufficient to get a person elected to the major office,
right?
And by the way, they could write in you, they could write in me. It doesn't matter who they write in. They can write in anybody.
Yeah, because we're not talking about votes specifically for Frank and Alicia as much as we are talking about votes that aren't for Lou or Ray.
Right. And that are not thrown away. That is, they don't mark the ballot or they spoil their ballot in some way.
Well, we're encouraging everybody to take some kind of action on that ballot. Vote for one, vote for the other, write in somebody, but make sure that ballot counts towards the total.
That's right.
How interesting is that going to be? All right. So based on your look at things, there are sufficient votes that Frank has already got based on the survey results that you have got that could force a runoff in this. And the likelihood of it being a runoff between Ray Tenorio and Lou Leon Guerrero is probably, my guess, is probably the more significant option, right?
Yeah, that's I think that's the other part about this is that they're the two dominant candidates. Everyone saw them, last Tuesday, and,
of course,
and that was the show. And this is the talk. The talk is those two. And the thing is, it's a very contentious race. It's a very heated race. I said about.
But is it as tight as you think it is? I mean, we're talking like all things are equal between Ray and Lou right now. But I mean, even in your last couple of surveys, Lou still looked like she was beyond dominant and had all the votes that she needed to win outright this general election. What's changed since then?
A lot. In fact, every election we see the exact same cycle go over and over again, and that's why. If a person's running very, very well, and in this case, Lou 2 weeks ago was running very, very, very well, they have to be very, very careful not to think that they've won already, because then their followers become arrogant, or they can become arrogant, and that pushes the numbers back to the other side. And it's like a seesaw. And so if one's up, the only place they can go is down, and the only place the other one can go is up. But in a three-body race, even if the top one goes down, there's two places for the votes to go rather than one.
All right. So let me ask you this question. I'm going to play a piece of audio. Oh, wait a second. I got to turn that piece of audio off. I'm sorry. It's the video from the Korean cartoons. So what I'm trying to gather here is, did this video bring things back to even? You'll recognize the audio right off. It's up. Is it on? Or am I muted? I'm muted? That's why. Stand by. Did this audio finally? Did this change the landscape? Did that change the playing field?
What changes the playing field in every election on Guam, Ray, isn't so much the video or the audio or any other statements. It's what people say about those things after they see them.
And so, well, that being the genesis of the conversation, has the landscape changed as a result of that?
I don't know whether it's a result of one single thing, but between the last 2 weeks of every election, things always change, and it's always driven by people talking at every point.
I agree. We've seen it before. You've modeled it, and you've even written about it. And I thought it was an interesting article that you wrote from a lot of different angles. But suffice to say, I think you're right. We are in that time since Halloween. Since shopping at Kmart to buy the candy for the Halloween itself, the get-togethers that took place, and all of the Halloween parties that frankly are still going on. A couple of big ones last night. One over at Kento's with Dennis Rodriguez. His family and a ton of supporters from all kinds of camps that were there with him as well. We've got All Souls Day, All Saints Day, and an entire weekend of 5Ks and family get-togethers before it gets to be Tuesday and time to vote.
And that's where the elections decided, really, is in all of these informal discussions and side discussions and interpretations of what was meant by everything that everybody has said in the last week.
Now, what can be done in this last week if there are perception issues based on that video or that conversation or those black ads that came out? What can be done about it at this late stage?
The other side, when you're attacked, there's a couple of things. The best thing the other side can do is simply appropriately respond. But the thing is, people, for that kind of video, they don't want to hear the facts. They want to hear a counterbalancing emotion kind of response. You see, you can't fight off a emotionally driven attack by coming up with facts or figures. You have to deal with an emotionally driven attack using counter emotion.
I did it for the children.
Yeah.
I hear what you're saying. I did it for love. It'll be crazy interesting to see what's going to be happening. Obviously, this is a major race. Do you see anything significant happening in the race for Attorney General's office? Anything significant happening? Any weird breakaways that are happening in the race for Congress?
I'm really interested in both of those races. I think they're both very dynamic, as well as the governor's race is very dynamic. The race for the Attorney General is really heated up.
Mm-hmm.
And, the weird thing is, for Attorney General and for the delegate, that race is won in the last week. It's not won beforehand. It's won in the it's between the Halloween and election days when both of those races are won.
Mm-hmm. Well, so my advice for everybody is if you got a pretty good thing going and you like the way the numbers seem to be headed and where you are in the race, I'd go underground. Just live like a monk until Tuesday morning and then go out and wave at all the precincts. Don't say anything. Don't do anything. Don't be anywhere where there might be a camera running.
And that's everywhere now. And by the way, Ray, there's something I want to tell you, okay? When have you ever had more fun with an election than this year?
Oh, well, I have fun all the time. I have fun all the time. There's a rumor floating around, and maybe it's a little bit more closer to fruition, that there is going to be a major announcement made on this program by Senator Dennis Rodriguez.
And this is all part of the fun.
Isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I see what's going on. All right. Now, there's one other point, and Ken Leon Guerrero and I had a little bit of a disagreement on this. Oh, I'm not going to have time to ask the question, but it had to do with the great debate. He was upset because he didn't hear a whole lot of new ideas and new talk, and I said the great debate, the week before the election is not where you want to be trying out new ideas and new platform stumps.
Yeah.
Okay, good. You agree with me. That's all I needed. I got to run. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. Ron, we'll have an autopsy, I suppose, on Tuesday, Wednesday at the latest, all right?
Yeah, I think we might have a diagnosis also maybe on Monday.
I'll be looking for the article. I'll see you soon, buddy.
All right.
There we are. KUSG Haggadah. That's us here at The Point. KUSG Haggadah, The Point, 93.3 on the FM dial, all of that stuff. Another hour of crazy political gossip and small talk coming up next. Is it Fox News?
Laying out the plan. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. President Trump announcing he will sign an executive order next week that would ban migrants from crossing the border illegally.
We will not allow our generosity to be abused by those who would break our laws, defy our rules, violate our borders, break into our country illegally. We won't allow it.
He says they're making a mockery of our immigration system.
Mass, uncontrolled immigration is especially unfair to the many wonderful, law-abiding immigrants already living here who followed the rules and waited their turn. Some have been waiting for many years. Some have been waiting for a long time. They've done everything perfectly. And they're going to come in.
And the president says he's told the military mobilizing at the southern border that if migrants throw rocks at them, they should act as if the rocks are rifles. The president now heading to Missouri as he continues his campaign blitz in the countdown to the midterm elections. The Georgia governor's race getting some star power as Oprah Winfrey stumps for Democrat Stacey Abrams.
So I'm here as an independent who made my own decision, paid my own way. Nobody paid for me to be here. And I have approved this message.
If Abrams wins, she would become the first African-American woman governor ever. Hundreds of Google employees around the world walked off the job today in protest of the company's handling of sexual misconduct claims.
Workers want changes, including an end to the use of forced arbitration in cases of harassment and discrimination. The protest follows a critical New York Times report saying Google protected key male executives accused of harassment or sexual misconduct, offering them big payouts to leave.
Fox's Christian Goodwin, Google CEO, has said he supports the demonstration. This is Fox News.
Josh and I have proposed a comprehensive plan to kickstart our economy, create jobs with rising wages, fight the root causes of crime, fund our schools, and make our classrooms safer places to learn. I know the value of life, and when a mother has to go through that very personal decision, it should be done in privacy, not the government, Ray. Stay out of it.
He knows a lot about conflict of interest since he's the one that sent the bill down to the legislature to give himself a pay raise. And I promise you this, I will be a hardworking lieutenant governor working every day to meet the challenges of Guam and to lift Lou's vision for Guam that is fair, safe, and prosperous.
Federal law enforcement official says murdered gangster Whitey Bulger had been transferred to the prison where he was killed because he had disciplinary problems at a Florida prison. Bulger died this week at the federal prison in West Virginia, the case being investigated as a homicide. A senior administration official tells Fox News State Department spokeswoman Heather Nauert is a contender for Nikki Haley's job at the UN.
A couple outstanding questions here. First and foremost, whether or not she has actually accepted or will actually accept. And then secondly, the timing in all of this, should she choose to accept. Keep in mind that Nikki Haley is still on the job as the top diplomat at for the United States over at the United Nations until the end of the year. So there is no real sense of urgency, I guess you could say, to get this filled now, especially considering that all the focus, or the majority of the focus over here at the White House, is on the midterm elections here 4 or 5 days from now.
Fox's Blake Berman. Election officials in St. Louis County, Missouri, working to notify 600 voters who were mistakenly sent letters telling them they can't vote on Tuesday. Republican election director Rick Stream acknowledging the error. Postcards have been sent out, but it's not clear if they'll arrive before Election Day. Stream said the error is the result of confusion by election workers processing voter registrations after the state's October 10th deadline. He says they didn't know registration forms postmarked or signed by the deadline should have counted, regardless of when they arrived. arrived. This problem is the second in recent weeks involving St. Louis County's election office. Family members of Chris Cornell suing a doctor they say overprescribed drugs to the rock singer, resulting in his death. Cornell's widow and 3 children allege prescription drugs given to him by Dr. Robert Coblin, especially one for anti-anxiety, led to erratic behavior before he committed suicide in 2017. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Be on in 1 minute.
If you can dream uncommon design and unprecedented engineering, you define the 2018 Lexus. The boldly designed IS Sports Sedan's aggressive design stimulates the senses.
Advanced paddle shifting puts the exhilarating performance of the IS Sports Sedan at your fingertips. With deep, luxurious seating, the ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive.
Put yourself in a 2018 Lexus.
Now with special incentives.
At Atkins Kroll.
Portions of the program are brought to you by King's Restaurant. What do they have at King's Restaurant today? Beef Tinactac. They got a daily special every day for lunch. Beef Tinactac is the deal today. Or the pick 2 or 3 combo. Monday, something to look forward to. Yes, Salisbury steak. And then Thursday next week, something else to look forward to besides the fact that it's Thursday. Meatloaf. Yeah, that's Luncheonette at King's.
Hafa-day. I'm Amanda Shelton, running to be your senator. I believe that Guam's best days are in front of us, and with hard work, new ideas, and common sense, we can overcome our challenges and make life better for everyone. I embrace the values of service and respect, and as your senator, I will act with passion, leadership, and courage to be your trusted public servant. I'm Amanda Shelton, number 3 Democrat, and I humbly ask for your vote. Sizuas Maasi.
Paid for by the committee to elect Amanda Shelton. Johnny Cole Torres, Treasurer.
Other portions of the program brought to you by American WaterTech. Smarter water, better water. Guam Regional Medical City. First choice for all of your open heart surgery needs. Micronesia Renewable Energy. Never been a better time to go solar. And American President Lines. They're shipping the future.
Hafa-day. I'm Amanda Shelton, running to be your senator. I believe that Guam's best days are in front of us, and with hard work, new ideas, and common sense, we can overcome our challenges and make life better for everyone. I embrace the values of service and respect, and as your senator, I will act with passion, leadership, and courage to be your trusted public servant. I'm Amanda Shelton, number 3 Democrat, and I humbly ask for your vote. Sizuas Maasi.
Paid for by the committee to elect Amanda Shelton. Johnny Cole Torres, Treasurer.
Hungry? Stop by Circle K for Craft Kitchen's hot breakfast, lunch, and dinner items delivered fresh 3 times a day. Circle K, take it easy. Be your own barista at Circle K. Create your perfect beverage with our large selection of premium coffees, sweeteners, and creamers, including 2% almond milk and soy milk. Circle K. Take it easy.
Regine Biscoe-Lee isn't always the loudest senator, but that's because she's busy getting things done. Regine fought higher taxes from day one. Her first bill sent senatorial pay raises to public schools instead of politicians' pockets. And she took the governor to court when some politicians asked for nearly $200 million in new debt. Want a senator that strengthens our economy, champions our environment, and protects our children? Vote Regine Biscoe-Lee for senator. Regine Biscoe-Lee, strong, honest, effective.
I'm Regine Biscoe-Lee, and I approve this message.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. My name is Alicia Blas from Agate, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Putehi Igomamu. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Taste the sizzle at Chili's with our new fajita flavors. Our signature fajitas are served with sliced bell peppers, caramelized onions, topped with chipotle garlic butter, and chopped cilantro. Build your fajita with over 16 ounces of tender grilled chicken, juicy steak, and a dozen pieces of seasoned grilled shrimp in the family fajita trio. All served with warm flour tortillas and fresh toppings like mixed cheese, guacamole, salsa, and pico de gallo. Experience bold, sizzling fajita flavors only at Chili's. More life happens here.
Wow. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
And we normally don't do weather at this time, but since I took the trouble of writing a spoof script on the weather, I'm going to do it. in honor of Michael Knight not being here to provide me weather. I had to strike out on my. You know what would be fun would be like to find somebody over at the National Weather Service and see how close I got. I mean, just playing around with the buzzwords, just throwing buzzwords in at random. How close I actually got to a real weathercast.
I'm sure they're listening.
You think?
They're probably having a good laugh about it.
The polar vortex is pushing a Kelvin wave inflows, causing a surge in the tropopause fold. You can expect the dry line shear to cause an increase in the isotherm readings on your hodograph.
You know, people thought I would get smarter.
Need to figure out how
here.
to do that. Well, you can do Mike's voice better.
Morning, y'all.
The weather forecast today, isolated showers, mostly sunny skies. Expect temps up in the upper 80s, about 89 degrees. It'll feel like 93. That's what the heat index is going to be doing, about 77 for the overnight lows. Winds out of the east today, 10 to 14 miles an hour. So if you've been pondering, as I have, among there's a marathon coming up. There's half marathons that are going to be out, and marathons coming up next year. I mean, and 5Ks, and one of the things, and I don't want to say that I was spoiled by it, but I was spoiled by it. When we'd go running at 5 o'clock. We'd start running at 5 o'clock in the morning. And the reason is I'm going to run 5 o'clock, and we'll go 8, 10 miles, something like that. And that way, we're running at the coolest point of the day. It's not quite sunshine, and it's still cool from the overnights. And I got spoiled. I did get spoiled because it occurred to me after I reflected on it is I don't know how to run in the heat. And so part of my training regime lately has been to run, and people will see me running in the afternoon, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I do this for a couple of reasons. Number one, to show off my tan, and number two, because I'm out there at kind of peak afternoon heat. Right, it's not lunchtime. I'm not running it at lunchtime, but I am running while it's still fairly hot outside, and that way it's just trying to get used to running in that kind of stress. So that's one less thing that's going to stress me out the next time that there's some kind of a marathon. Half marathon, I can generally get in before the sun comes up. Marathon, forget about it. I don't care what time you start the marathon. I'm going to be running in the heat, and so I need to prep for that. And I can't remember why I brought it up. I forgot why. Why did I bring it up? Do you remember? Just something about the sunshine.
Marathons are coming up.
I just thinking, if for those, this is a good day for those of you that are running or cycling or doing something and are like me thinking, how do I train myself out from under stress? That's the way to do it. So find whatever it is that stresses you out and train during that time, and it's one less thing. It's like running hills, like you bike.
Well,
and you bike in the afternoon.
I understand that getting comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah, exactly. That's the concept. Well, Father, 9:12 in the morning, Ray Gibson Show, and I'm playing tag with another thought here, and it comes from a black space in my head, which is that everybody's got one, right? Everybody's got one. And this black space in my head is there's a bunch of people that are running for political office right now that aren't going to make it. You ain't gonna make it. I didn't do it. I'm not responsible for you not making it. I don't have the latest Ron McNinch survey, right? I don't have it in front of me. I don't think I have it in front of me. Because there's a joke in my head. And let's just say it's Roland Bloss, right? That came in dead last on that. Was it him?
I believe so.
I think it was, yeah. So
the Tetra, right? The Tetra guy?
Yeah, that's the one. I'm not trying to make a joke or make anybody feel bad, but I'm just saying, for some people that know you're not going to make the top 15, isn't that the goal now? Just don't be behind him.
Isn't this like his third or maybe fourth attempt?
I think it might be his fourth. I think it could be number 4. I don't know. Nice fella. I've had the opportunity to talk with him many times, and wish all of them good luck. Eddie Cruz this morning says, "Run for public office, Ray. You will feel the heat." No, absolutely not. I'll just tell you right now. I'll tell you right now. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid. Are there skeletons in the closet? Sure. Are there rumors? Always. Here's the just vote for me. It's all true. Whatever you heard, it's all true. There. Just get out from under it. If all these people are going to think, oh, yeah, I'm just going to accuse him of this. Whatever, go ahead. Yeah, you're right. Next.
Throw yourself under the bus?
I did it. But I did it for the kids. as long as you've got, what did he say? What did he say? You attack an emotions-based, you respond to an emotions-based attack with an emotions-based counter-response. Why did you do that? I did it for the children's. That's why. I did it for the manumco. I did it for the people who have no voice of their own. That's why. Anyway, so like I said, so the next line of thinking comes from that dark space in my heart that says, you know what? There's a bunch of people that aren't going to be called into public office or called back to public office. What will we do now? What is your plan? And some of you might not have a plan, which is why I've taken the time, trouble, and expense of opening up the back pages of both of the newspapers today to see if there's any good jobs that might be out for people. So the only problem is that you get a lot of people that run for political office. You know what they know how to do? Nothing. They don't know how to do it. Did you ever have a real job? You mean after youth Congress? No. I've never actually had a private sector job, 8 to 5. You get customers, whatever. Do you know how to do anything? I know how to run for office. So you might not be qualified for some of these positions, which is an interesting thing to say, because it means that some of the people that are qualified must be pretty smart. As an example, IP&E has an opening right now for a tanker driver. And in my mind, because it's not a big place in there. In my mind, the tanker driver job is a job that could be considered fraught with danger. You have to be careful if you are going to be a tanker driver because there's gasoline behind you.
I used to get scared pulling up to one of those at a stoplight and just thinking it might blow up on me.
It could go any time, right? And so, yeah, I'm thinking that the guys that ultimately get this job need to have a thing or two going for them that I don't know that even the best and brightest of our political representatives might not have that same aptitude or capacity for. Yeah, maybe that's the way we'll look at this as you making your way through the ballot. Is this somebody that I would trust behind the wheel of a tanker truck with gasoline in it? Thousands of gallons of gasoline. Is this somebody who I would trust navigating Guam's roadways with thousands of gallons of gasoline behind them? This position is responsible for operating heavy goods vehicles to load, transport, and deliver petroleum products. Petroleum, which is flammable by definition. During the course of delivering products, drivers will engage with customers to ensure quality of product and service. Yes, we'll all have a little glass of gasoline, and if we both agree it's good, I'll put it in your tank. The ideal candidate will be reliable, punctual, self-motivated, have the ability to work flexible hours, and work well in a team setting. Identical qualifications for a good senator. IP&E is committed to providing a safe and respectful work environment for employees and clients, and candidates should demonstrate these values. Qualified applicants must have at least 2 years of truck driving experience. Well, I'm out. I'm out from there. So even as smart as you think I am, even as qualified as you think I might be for different things, I don't have the qualifications of being a truck driver. It's not the only job around here where skills are required. Roadside towing in Harmon has an opening for a chauffeur, AB licensed drivers, security guard, and customer service reps. Roadside towing. Do you need a chauffeur's license for a tow truck?
I'm not sure, but I think it makes sense. You need a bit better license than an operator.
Than just an operator's license, right? Yeah, because it's your rig, and then there's the one that you're dragging around behind you. But it's missing one other qualification. And I don't know if you've seen this, like with the wrecker guys. Wrecker guys have a sixth sense.
To smell the blood?
No.
Have you
ever noticed that most of the time the wreckers are on the scene of the accident before the cops?
They're fast.
These guys, I don't know how they do it. Like I said, it must be some kind of mental telepathy or sixth sense. They're like the carry-on. As soon as there's a corpse beginning to decompose, there's an accident. Route 1. I'm thinking Route 1 over by St. John's. Somebody tried to jump the curb, make that left-hand turn onto Happy Landing Road. Got to get to the karaoke right now. I can't tell you how many times I've thought of that myself. I want to get to Happy Landing Road, and I got to go all the way up, hang a U, come back. Anyway, so a little bit of a sixth sense, and wouldn't that be a good quality to have in our elected representatives? A sixth sense, to be able to see things, to be able to spot trends before they've happened. Beginning to, because didn't it seem like this year when we were talking about going off the fiscal cliff, like we should have been able to spot that better? Because it's not like Trump just started talking about it and the Trump tax cuts automatically appeared. I mean, just out of the blue, poof, hey, there was nothing there before, and now we're going to be upside down by $120 million. What the heck? Where did it go? And so maybe, and we wouldn't even call it a sixth sense. It's just somebody that's out paying attention to the clues. What else is there? Smithbridge is hiring diesel heavy equipment mechanic. And they're also looking for a heavy equipment operator. And a couple of things on this one. And they are looking for people with experience. If you want to be a diesel mechanic, you have to have 3 years in a shop, valid driver's license, and be able to obtain military base access clearance. Same thing with the heavy equipment operator. You must be able to obtain military base access clearance. Let's say, Real Joe Cruz, that I had a blemish on my criminal record. Would that prevent me from getting a base access clearance?
It might. It probably depends on whether it's a felony or a misdemeanor.
Let's say I grab somebody by the gun.
That's a crime of moral turpitude. I could be wrong.
Eddie, wait a second. Eddie Cruz, who's online, who would know the answer to these questions, who encouraged me to run for public office so I could feel the heat. I don't want to. I feel enough of it here. You know what it takes to kill 4 hours a day on radio, on talk radio? I do, and so never mind with the other stuff. But do me a favor, Eddie, chime in and tell me what's required to get that coveted military base access clearance, and if it's possible, given my history that you know of, could I get one? You know, I've been able to pass the FBI test, so I can get my gun permit, right? So I would assume if they leaned over and said, yeah, he's okay to carry a gun. You think that they didn't find any blemishes that were significant enough to keep me from getting on a military base. I swear, there's only one thing I need there. It's called Popeyes. A couple of other jobs that might be interesting. Delivery and stock with driver's license. A driver with a Type G license. This might be worth applying for because, and I don't know, because it's at Scuba Co. It's a scuba company. This might be worth applying for, if for no other reason, and I'm going to say it, Korean hot pants. Graphic artist, sign production. Good job. I don't have the skills for it. Handyman, plumber required. Now, might be able to help out there, because I know everything there is to buy at Home Depot place. And maintenance personnel at Coral Sea Realty have all got openings. 888-825-5888-TALK. Mike Cruz, Hoffa, Doc.
Ray.
How you doing there?
Are you talking to me?
I am. Which Mike Cruz is this? Is this Dr. Mike Cruz?
No, this is Eddie Cruz.
Oh, Eddie Cruz. I'm sorry. We apparently are having the similar problems as they had yesterday on Tall Tales, where it doesn't matter what Real Joe Cruz types in, Jack still comes out. So no, it's Eddie Cruz, a Sharky. Just next time, just put Sharky. That's the way we know him as. So
there you go.
So we got these great jobs, right? Tanker drivers and Smithbridge looking for heavy equipment mechanics and operators there with military base access clearance. So I'm going to assume that Smithbridge needs these guys to work on some of the projects they've got on that side of the base of the fence, right?
Right. I got all those qualifications.
You have all of those qualifications.
I want to be a mayor. They make a lot of money for nothing.
You want to be a mayor?
I'm just kidding, Ray.
I want to go back. I want you to call me, no matter what, I want you to call me commissioner.
There you go.
Just go back to that. Never mind the mayor thing. That's too highfalutin. I like the old days. Commissioner, and then my retired name will be Chief. Just Chief from one. Anyway, so what are the what are the things that could get stricken out? I mean, let's take a look at the senatorial candidate list and look at some of these people. I don't know that they would have the mental capacity to be able to be heavy equipment operators right off the bat, but at least they might be able to get the job based on their ability to go on base. So what are some of the things that would strike against you to get military base access?
Felonies. You need to be a U.S. citizen or have a green card and have there's certain conditions on the green card holders, but mainly you have to be a U.S. citizen. You have to be free of felonies, not have pending charges against you, serious accusations against you. Mm-hmm. And then depending on the qualification of the job you need to be doing, like if you're working in a high security area or an area where it's sensitive for certain equipment, then there's other considerations that they look at. But it's a pretty stringent process, and it usually takes about 2 weeks right now. It's changed. Sometimes it's a little longer, sometimes it's a little shorter.
So as an example, well, let me go back to something that we were talking about a second ago. You and I both have federal clearance required, and I would assume, because I had to pay extra to make it go to the FBI, we've had clearance provided to us by the Federal Bureau of Investigations, which led to our ability to get gun permitted.
Correct.
So do you think, could I go to them and say, hey, look, I've recently been checked by the FBI, and they didn't find anything. Would that provide the certification I needed for them to just go, oh, yeah, okay, and you're the guy on the radio, so here's your base access?
No, it's not that easy. They conduct it. When you turn your application in, you go through the whole process all over again. Mm-hmm. So it's not like you've already got a check because just like when you buy a new gun, they do a whole new process with the, APS and everybody, and they'll go through that whole thing. So they want the most current information, and so it still has to go through the whole thing again. And if you have passed an FBI check, chances are that you will get a base access, but it depends on the contractor also, because it's a contractor that has to apply for you. In other words, you can't just go up there and say, I want base access.
Yeah.
So it's pretty complicated. It's not as easy as most people think, and it seems like it's easier for some contractors than it is for others, depending on, I guess, the scope of their work and how many projects they have on base, whether they get priority as far as getting approval quicker.
Yeah, I got you. Well, it was just an idea. I'm trying to help out all these leader wannabes that are out there that probably don't stand a snowball's chance in hell of getting elected dog catcher. And I want to make sure that no matter what, there will always be some place for them to go. But as I think about it, heavy equipment operator, heavy equipment wranglers, and things like that. Tanker drivers. These are like real jobs that require real skills and
it requires certifications, Ray.
And certifications.
You can't just drive a tank truck without having hazmat and all the other good stuff and hazardous transportation certificates also.
Exactly.
So it's exactly the same thing. And for commercial driver's license of something with hazardous material, you can't have DUIs and some of the other stuff on your record.
Sure.
So when you go to get a police clearance or a court clearance, that's going to be a concern.
Well, and so as I say, I keep looking at, we're talking, if you heard me yesterday talking about, the people that are running for public office, I will look at it through my filter, and my filter is who's good for talk radio. Who's going to be great? Of the three running for governor, who's good for talk radio? Attorney General's office, congressperson, senators. Which ones are going to be good for my business? Keep me in sweet, rolling in sweet dough on the radio station. But I think for everybody else, maybe the qualification should be, would you trust this person to drive a tanker truck?
Yes.
Is this person somebody that the military would allow on the other side of the fence?
Yes. Those are very important questions, Ray, and I'm glad you brought that up because, with our judicial system and the way we do things here, people forget. You know, they say, "Oh, I got my record expunged. I got this and that at the Superior Court." You know, the federal government looks at everything. They can see everything. They can look at every charge there is. So even if they say they expunged your record or they cleared you, if you've got an arrest of some sort, it still shows up on that FBI record.
Well,
so they profile you on that, and sometimes that's what gets you,
disqualifies you. But like I said, I'm looking for a way for people to be able to, because otherwise you're just going to go in there blind. You're going to go, well, I think I met this guy, or so and so is my mom likes him. My mom's friends with his mom, so I'm going to vote that way. And it's trying to look at it from a different perspective. Is this somebody that you would trust? Driving on the same roads with you, with the equivalent of a ton of dynamite in the back. So that's.
If they're representing you and they're driving your truck and they're going on your reputation and your liability issues, then you need to make sure you screen thoroughly. And that's what I think a lot of the employers are doing now, because it's so easy for a company now to lose their certification and lose their ability to transport hazmat or transport heavy equipment or something, or get on the base. So it's always a challenge. And the way that the system is here and the high rate of arrests, you can get accused of anything, get arrested, and then all of a sudden lose your job on the base because of that.
Yeah.
So you have to be very careful. You have to walk on eggshells.
All right, Eddie, gonna let you. I'm sorry, I looked at Mike again. I'm gonna let you run. I'll talk to you pretty soon. Have a good weekend. Talk politics, and we'll hear you or see you on Facebook Live with Tall Tales a little bit later. Have an awesome morning. 888-8255. Jerry's on the line with a comment. Good morning, Jerry.
Yeah, hi. Unfortunately, as far as pay is concerned, it really pales in comparison to the amount of money you get paid in the mainland for doing the same job anywhere in the U.S. And I have a concealed license. I had a former military secret clearance. I had hazmat, OSHA training. I used to be certified driving 18-wheelers. But to tell you the truth, the pay is not worth it.
Wow.
It's not. All those certifications and the amount of money you get paid, it's not enough. It's so dangerous.
Well, and there have been issues in the past. I'm trying to remember, was it once upon a time that somebody lost control of a vehicle, and I don't recall exactly what the end of that investigation was, but somebody lost control of a vehicle down in Molesso or something. Was it Molesso or Umatic?
No, I remember that. That's number one. Their brakes. To think about it, right? I don't want to say anything about it, but to tell you the truth, that individual was not aware of his the PMCS records. He apparently probably was driving too fast. For example, another one that we had here, Route 1 and
Route 8.
16, yeah, where plowed right into another several vehicles and killed several people. The brakes went out. And, people don't realize it's a high liability. It's very, very risky. I've actually handled millions of dollars in equipment, and you have to do everything.
But what you're saying here is that with all of the qualifications that you had, with all of the secondary education and continuing education, I assume that you have to maintain to keep that job. Your salary doesn't come close to being able to match the amount of responsibility that you've got, and so it's time to go and find another job.
Exactly. That's why I tell you what, I wouldn't mind moving back to Texas and get involved in the fracking out there.
Well, you might have to drive through a gauntlet of environmentalists to get to your fracking locations back and forth, but it's certainly doable. So the issue that I'm trying to resolve here is how do we make it so that these guys are paid commensurate to the responsibilities, the weighty responsibilities of the job, and all of the things that they've got to maintain, all the certification that they've got to maintain to make that worthwhile. Because like I said, I don't want just rummies getting behind the wheel. I want somebody that's out has the skill and the aptitude, and then going further from there, using this as part of the filter, if you will, for who is going to get my vote. Is this somebody that I would trust being a tanker driver on the roadways? And my guess is, after looking at about 30 names, probably wouldn't be able to come up with more than one or two that I would trust to do that. Hey, Jerry, I gotta run. I appreciate you listening, and I appreciate your time. Have a great weekend. All right, my friend. It's 9:34. We'll call that iConnect time. Swing by iConnect. They're going to be open all day today. And ask them about the great prices that they've got on internet and mobile and push-to-talk plans. 888-8888.
I'm Ken Leon Guerrero, spokesperson for Guam Citizens for Public Accountability, reminding you that your vote counts. Help make Guam's future better than Guam's recent past by voting for the write-in candidate Frank Uggan and Alicia Limpiaco. And vote for the rest of the candidates recommended for a better Guam. You can find the list in the full-page ad in this Sunday's Guam Daily Post. For more information, visit Guam Citizens' website at www.guamc4pa.org.
If you can dream uncommon design and unprecedented engineering, you define the 2018 Lexus. The boldly designed IS Sport Sedan's aggressive design stimulates the senses.
Advanced paddle shifting puts the exhilarating performance of the IS Sport Sedan at your fingertips. With deep, luxurious seating, the ES350 offers an ultimate level of comfort, while cutting-edge engineering delivers a thrilling drive.
Put yourself in a 2018 Lexus.
Now with special incentives.
At Atkins Kroll.
Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. Now you can start planning for the holidays by getting a personal Christmas loan from $1,000 up to $3,500. Family Finance has 3 convenient locations to serve you. Give them a call in Dededo, 633-4473, Hagåtña, 475-4545, and the Upper Tumon location on the 2nd floor of the Pacific Building at 647-5626. Get your Christmas loans today from Family Finance.
After 34 years as your public servant, my commitment to serve our people has never wavered. I've never cared about making money. My greatest compensation is when I can help a disabled veteran, a cancer patient, or a struggling family to get the assistance they rightfully need and deserve. Public service has always been my calling. I'm Tina Muñoz Barnes, and I humbly ask for your vote. Situ Asmasi. I'm Tina Muñoz Barnes, and I approve this message.
Paid for by friends of Tina Muñoz Barnes, Vince Mofness, treasurer.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details. .37 in the morning. I've got a piece of good news I wanted to pass along here from Kaz Endo. Writes this morning, thought your audience would be happy to know that Mahi, as in John Anderson's wife Mahi, received her donations for John yesterday. My kids delivered the good news. $7,000 plus raised between the Rotary donations, the fundraiser that we had last Friday night over at Splash, which is a great place to have a fundraiser, by the way, and the GoFundMe account that was set up in his name. John says, hello to everyone. Thank you. And even enjoyed a spoon of ice cream to celebrate. And that is very, very happy news. And I'm sure that the GoFundMe link is still live. So just go to GoFundMe and look for John, Jon Anderson, Anderson. And something will come up. And at least one guy, Tom, who checks in every once in a while on Facebook Live, responsible for at least one of those $7,000 that were donated. A couple of other things that are in the table of contents I've just been yakking about here because it is. Okay, so a couple of things from the Rotary lunch yesterday that are still playing around on WhatsApp, just because it's fun, and also just because it's fun. I guess today is not the appropriate time for a very important announcement from Dennis Rodriguez. Maybe that'll happen on Monday, or maybe it won't. I don't know. Yeah, politicians, capricious folks. You never know what's going to be happening. But I did post a picture of Dennis and I on Facebook Live last night while I was at his fundraiser. If for no other reason that where is it? Where's the picture there? Is that the one? Could be. No, that's not the one. There's a couple of pictures of me floating around on Facebook. One is with me and Dennis Rodriguez. The other one is with Pretty Ashley and Frank Uggan and I. And then there's a third one with me and a friend of mine, Ramona. And every time I press on something, that picture keeps coming up. I'm looking for a different picture. There it is. There it is. I found it. So it's a picture of Dennis Rodriguez and myself at the fundraiser last night. And what is interesting is the comments that people are leaving behind on this. All I said was stay tuned for a very special announcement, and people are already trying to put two and two together. Adonis Mendiola says, that's so loaded and you know it, bruh. Yes, I do. I wouldn't have put it there if I didn't think it was going to load up. Paul Blas, please tell me you guys are doing a write-in campaign. You too, write-in? Running write-in? Dave Duenas asking, what's the breaking news? And Rose Bill Murphy says, I know I wouldn't be surprised. Mark Mendiola says, new host at The Point. Kat Phillips Uggan says, great minds think alike. Kat says, my guess is Senator's joining you in broadcasting with his own show on The Point. Carl Nelson says, drum roll, please. Lou, Ray, or Frank? Who will get the endorsement? Asks Ed Barbosa. Eric Borja says, is it already April? Is it April Fools? I don't know. Joe Flores says, Biba Dennis Rodriguez, and is quickly responded to by Frank, Big Frank Tangelin, who says, this guy gave all the legislative staffers raises while subs for GDOE had to start on October 1st instead of August 14th. Lives impacted due to GovGuam austerity measures, except for the legislature. Again. And how does he finish up? As one of my favorite curse lines in Chamorro, busted him, Melania. You can say that in talk radio.
My grandmother says, that's not a nice word, boy.
It's not, don't say that. You know, it's almost Sunday, boy. Don't talk like that when it's almost Sunday. What do I got? Where are we? What are people going on about? Thanks for the update, Cos, says Romeo Carlos. Chris from Big Abetta says, did Governor Calvo using his gubernatorial Facebook to disparage his lieutenant governor's opponent and endorse Ray for governor? Did he? I didn't see that. I thought I saw something earlier this morning that was pointing to it, but frankly, I was already late getting in the car and coming to work, so I did not get a chance to review any of those things. I know that there's a gubernatorial bully pulpit that you get, and when it gets to be this time in the waning days of an administration, and you've got a lieutenant governor that is running for office, it seems like every press release that comes out is going to have, where they never did before, and if they did, I didn't notice, a statement from, sorry, there's too many pages in a GFT newsletter I'm looking at. 3 non-U.S. citizens to face deportation. And there's the dramatic statements there. Do we have a dramatic statement here from the Lieutenant Governor of Guam? Okay, not in this one. There was one yesterday where they were making dramatic statements. $1 million in tax refunds in the mail. And I love this, very artistically written. This is the twilight of my public service years, and this administration will continue to serve the island till the very last day. I want to leave you with my head held high, knowing that I worked and fought with everything I had for the people of this island we all love and call home. And that was the governor's statement in the press release. I almost need the music behind that. You know which music it is?
I'm not sure, but someone called me up and said there's music playing over your voice right now. But I don't see anything in here. I don't know if it's bleeding from another, or...
I don't have any music playing over my voice. Not that I know of. Wow. Is it possible you got 2 radios working? I'm not hearing anything. What have I got plugged into things? I don't have anything plugged into anything. Anyway, but that's deal with it because we only got a few minutes left on the air. As I was pointing out, as you will see in a lot of cases, there are press releases going out from the governor's office that will also point to the lieutenant governor, where sometimes there are, sometimes there aren't. With regard to $1 million in tax refunds, Lieutenant Governor Ray Tenorio stated, "I want to thank our government employees for their hard work in reducing expenditures so that we could make good on our obligations to the people of Guam. Just a few days ago, we sent out $13.9 million from the general fund for the cost of living allowances to our retirees. Can't forget that. Can't forget that. This effort has always centered around the people of our island, which is the way it should be." Right? That's it. Got it. We need to get a quote from the candidate. I mean, the lieutenant governor. Stick something in there about the COLA. I'm telling you, we ought to make, there ought to be a rule. The same way that there is a rule that says that you're not allowed to come out with a complaint against Frank Uggan within X number of days of the general or primary election, there ought to be a rule that says you cannot be sending out COLA payments a week before the election. What are you trying to do? You're trying to get all the Manumco on your side. I mean, it is what it is. It's blatant. When is the COLA? When's my COLA? Huh? When is that? You know when it's going to be? When it is politically expedient. That's when it's going to be. Just bribe. I'll call it what it is. It's a bribe. That's and does that still work? I gotta ask my friend. I got a friend. And maybe I'll say her name, Lynn. And so my friend Lynn, her mother gets a COLA check. She's among the fortunate retirees that still see something like that. So the question that I have, that I'll ask Lynn later, and I'll report on this Monday, I'll give you a report Monday, is does that factor into your mother insisting that you vote for the people responsible for making sure she got that COLA check? What do you think? Yeah, they might have another internet window open, but I don't know. I don't think anything's bleeding on. I'm not hearing anything on my. You know what? I'm not going to worry about it. Okay, I'm not going to think about it. I've my whole week has been consumed with technical thoughts. Debbie's asking. Debbie got a picture. Debbie saw the picture of me and Pretty Ashley and Frank saying, "Is that an endorsement?" Yes, it is. I am endorsing Pretty Ashley. Hey, wait. Give me a second. Talked about that. I'm looking at the table. You guys have seen this, right? In my notebook, this is my table of contents. So the process is I'm at my desk every morning at 4:45. I actually start working about 10 to 6, but I'm at my desk at 4:45, and I start perusing all the newspapers and all the newscast scripts and things like that, looking for interesting things that we can talk about on the radio. That job is going to be a whole lot harder next week after the election, unless there's a runoff. If there's a runoff, then all hell is going to break loose around here. There's going to be calls for recounts and manual recounts and all of the same people that were pulling their hair out a couple of months ago after the primary. I think what little hair they have left, they're going to pull the rest of that out come next week. Even Ron McNinch says his forecast, based on the data that is out there now and the significant way that people's thinking of certain candidates may have changed, almost assure, without a whole lot of additional polling calculus, almost assure that there is going to be some kind of a runoff for next week. But if it doesn't happen, then we ramp into discussions about when the inauguration is going to be, congratulatory interviews, and when we sit down and start talking about the issues that you want to tackle day number one, week number one, month number one, and the people that you're going to bring in to tackle those problems. That's in my mind, the important question, and I keep asking it, and I keep not getting the answer. Who's it that's going to be in charge of the Department of Revenue and Taxation? Who will be there? I don't know that it's... I don't know if it's going to be the same guys that are there now. Might be somebody in the Department of Revenue and Taxation, but I don't know who it's going to end up being. So, you know, there are a couple of names that got floated around. I want to know who's going to be in charge of Guam Memorial Hospital in the coming year. Coming 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. Who are you going to appoint to sit on the board? Who will you appoint to sit on the Chamorro Land Trust Commission? As an example, the beleaguered Chamorro Land Trust Commission. Who will you talk to there about finally making sure that the rules and the regulations, exactly how it's supposed to work out with the people's land? Who are you going to put there? Right? And I want to know, because, you know, even though I don't know everything about everything, I think I do know the right people to ask. So when they say, you know what, I'm going to put Real Joe Cruz there at CLTC, I'm going to make him in charge of that. And then I'm going to go, oh, that's right. That's one of your cronies. That's one of your cronies. You know what, that job, his qualifications for that job are nil. He's only going there because he helped you fold chairs at the rallies, right? That's the only reason why. And frankly, he could have gone there. He could have gone to EPA. He could have gone at the Chamorro Commission, right?
I don't want that job.
I don't want that job. No. But you see where my brain is headed. I'd like you to tell me that the person that you're putting in charge of the Department of Revenue and Taxation knows a thing or two about tax policy, about collections. I'd like to know that the person that you will appoint to run Guam Memorial Hospital will be somebody that knows a thing or two about public health, that knows a thing or two about the way hospitals operate, Peter Skro. Did I just drop a name? Oh, I just, you know what? And tell you what, if you're a Democrat and you win, you get him. But you're going to say, but he's too closely associated with the Calvo family. So what? It's the guy whose dream was another hospital on Guam, and through an incredible will and intent, made it so that we've got a Guam Regional Medical City up north. And if it's not somebody that's got a lot of background in the hospital game, how about just somebody that's got a lot of background in the business game? Because that's what it is. And then it needs to be somebody that you bring in to do this job, and then you get out of the way and let him do it. And number one, you get out of the way and let him do it. And number two, you run interference for him. Because we've seen this happen before where guys get lined up for that job, and at the first hint of some kind of a political backlash, like, oh, they're firing people that don't have any business working at Guam Memorial Hospital, or they're talking about reducing this department because we don't need it. At the first sign of that kind of political, you get in front of him. You run interference. You make a hole for this guy so that he can make it all the way through. You get experts from civil service to make sure that when it comes down to layoffs, terminations, etc., that this guy is doing it clean by the book, so that we don't have people coming back 6 months later and suing GMH for $15 million. That's what I want to see. Show me those guys. Show me who you've got lined up on your plan. And if it's political cronies, you better have a really good reason why you got them there. What time is it? 9:52. Last break for a Friday morning. I'll be right back.
Have a day. My name is Steve Guerrero, and I'm running for senator. Our community once again is being asked to bail the government out of its financial mess through tax increases. Our small island government is now spending $1 billion annually. Where's our tax dollars going? What's needed is fiscal responsibility. I say we can run this government without increasing taxes. In fact, I propose to roll taxes back. With your vote, I will bring my 30 years of experience in government finance to address the core fiscal problems plaguing government today. Please vote for me, Steve Guerrero. It's time for action.
Paid for by Friends for Steve Guerrero.
Guam Regional Medical City. We bring the healthcare advances of the world directly to you. We are an acute care hospital that complements your needs with our robust outpatient specialty clinics. From preventative care to critical care, we strive for consistent excellence at GRMC. Our core philosophy is where patients are partners, which means we work as a team to make a healthier version of you. For more information about GRMC, visit us at grmc.gu.
Super Typhoon U2 spared us here on Guam, but the same cannot be said for our neighboring islands. From now till November 16th, join us as we help Saipan and Tinian to get back on their feet. Acceptable donations include batteries, flashlights, tools, cleaning supplies, mosquito coils, rope, toiletries, personal hygiene items, and others. Donations can be dropped off to all GTA stores, the Guam Daily Post, all Guam Fire Department stations, and the Santa Teresita Catholic Church. For more information on how you can help, visit postguam.com.
As I look around, there are so many longtime Democrats, but it doesn't serve the good of our island or our Democratic Party when we don't embrace the will of our party. And that will was choosing Lou and Josh.
The people that have been forgotten, we will bring people helping people back. I'm banking on Lou and Josh.
I want to invite those Democrats, those Republicans that are sitting maybe on the sidelines. Well, I want to tell them that they have a home here with us.
Family is about more than who you are related to. It includes everyone. This election is coming down to one value and one value only: trust. Who will you trust to protect the people of Guam?
And I approve this ad.
Lunch with Lacia at 3 Squares, 11:30 to 1:30, $50 a head. I like the food there. That's nice. I'm sorry, that wasn't a plug. That was just me reading something on my phone. Lunch with Lacia, 3 Squares, 11:30. Okay. 888-8255-888-TALK. It's 9:55 in the morning. And I don't often get requests to talk about certain things, but on Facebook Live, I've been asked by Maria to talk about, what is this, a movie, Gosnell, the trial of America's biggest serial killer, starting today at Tango Theaters. Is that her on the phone? Well, let me before I put her on the phone, I want to check out the trailer, if you don't mind. Those of you watching on Facebook Live will be able to see it as well. Duh, because, you know, it's visual radio. Here it comes.
All right, listen up. We're looking for anything that looks like drugs or paraphernalia.
Philadelphia Police Department, we have a search warrant. What is that smell? I mean, you gotta see this. This is normal? I don't know. I've never been in an abortion clinic before. You are not gonna believe what I saw last night.
How many?
So far, we found over 30 of them. Healthy woman goes into a clinic, comes out dead, and there's no police report? Files have been moved recently. Look at this.
You'll be the prosecutor who went after reproductive rights, and you'll be a racist to boot.
You've got a lot of folk who'd like to see abortion outlawed. And this is not going to be the case that gives them an excuse.
Prosecution has offered you a plea bargain, Dr. Gosnell.
But I would have to admit I was guilty. I'm not guilty.
When you get to the courthouse, you are going to be swarmed by reporters.
You ready for this, counselor? Where's everybody?
When was the last time your division inspected Dr. Gosnell's clinic?
We had instructions directly from Governor Ridge's office not to inspect.
Wouldn't testify in that case about anything. You doubt you'll find a doctor who will.
And you look at the facts, you will see what I see.
An overly zealous Catholic investigator. Is that what you want to make this about?
There's nothing that man did that protects women or children, and you don't have to be a pro-life activist to see that.
Kermit Gosnell is perhaps the most prolific serial killer in American history.
You better win.
Wow. Apparently the show is playing here this weekend. The Gosnell trial, House of Horrors, etc. There's I'm unaware of the existence of the movie. Apparently I'm the only one. Good morning, Maria.
Yeah, actually I called in for a couple of things, but Gosnell is, it aired last weekend or the weekend before in the continental U.S., and then they quickly canceled them a week later because of the controversy. It addresses this doctor who did thousands of abortions, killing, and he was tried and convicted for life imprisonment without parole for killing 3 infants that were born. And I just wanted to let everybody know.
Born alive. They survived the attempt at the abortion, and then he subsequently killed them.
Right, and there were 3 of them that he was charged with. And just to make people aware, they have the weekend and hopefully the rest of the week to watch it, so that they understand the issue of abortion. And of course, he's the very, very extreme. But also, in line with this, I don't know if you're aware, but the Catholic Pro-Life Committee conducted a survey on the pro-life issue, and all they asked was, here's the question: would you support a legislative bill that would restrict abortion on Guam by making it illegal to perform abortion on unborn babies once the unborn baby has reached?
I am aware of that survey that was conducted among the gubernatorial, senatorial, attorney general, and congressional candidates. In fact, I've read it on the air.
Oh, okay. Well, I was disappointed because I was expecting it to go on the Umatuna at least last Sunday, and I'm hearing that they're not going to do it.
At all. Well, that in and of itself is kind of interesting. But you can find a copy of that, I believe, in one of the newspapers today. I think it's in the Pacific Daily News. So if you'd like to see what the response is. Okay, so you're the one that bought that. So if you're interested to see what the responses were, and they align with some of the other conversation that has been taking place here on Guam in the last several days, then you ought to be able to find it there. Maria, I'm sorry, I'm just out of time here. I've got the Fox News Live. We'll talk again on Monday, all right? I'll see you later. We're KUSG. Gotten you time now for Fox News Live. Have a good weekend.
Seeking asylum.
Already dispatched for the border the United States military, and they will do the job. They're setting up right now, and they're preparing. We hope nothing happens, but if it does, we are totally prepared.
And saying
they want to throw rocks at our military fights back. We're going to consider it. I told them, consider it a rifle. When they throw rocks like they did at the Mexico military and police, I say, consider it a rifle.
The president set to hold a rally in Missouri this hour as he continues his campaign.